Ooh. Ooh. Hi. How's it going? How we all doing? Should I just hide again? Okay, I'm here. Okay. Hello. Okay. How are my precious darlings and viewers? There we are. I've got you on the screen. Ooh. Oh, we've got really good, like, whatever the word is, the thing where the time it takes for me to broadcast for the time it takes to get to you. We're talking like halves of halves of seconds. You're on time for once. That's great. Oh, I've got all my best people here. Everyone who comments on all the videos, and other people. And other people are missing. They'll come later. That's okay. Wonderful to see you all. Yeah, I hope everyone's having a good day, night, evening, afternoon. I'm hoping that a Saturday is a better time than I was thinking of latency. I'm hoping that like a Saturday is a better time to stream generally, and a Saturday night in the UK, which is Saturday morning in the United States. All of the United States. Maybe it's afternoon. Daytime. I'm streaming during the daytime. Loyalty is wonderful. Loyalty, obedience, whatever you want to call it. The thing where I say turn up to a place, please, and you're like, I've got nothing else on. I guess I'll turn up to the place. That's the kind of relationship we have. So, I hope everyone's doing well. I hope we're all enjoying 40k stuff. There's a lot of things. A lot of things. I know we're doing quizzes today, but I also have, like, news, weeks. We've had weeks of news, and I don't talk about literally everything that comes out. So, I'll have to talk about literally everything that's come out that I haven't already done a video on. And you know I do a video every day? It's a lot of videos. I know. I forgive you if you don't watch all of them. I try and make it so there's like a lot of them. Then, you can watch whatever videos you want. Like, not that one, not that one, not that one. Oh, hey, there we go. There's another one. Don't need to call me sir. Well, you can. You absolutely can. The Emperor does protect from scuff. The Emperor's doing pretty well today. The Emperor is looking very fleshy. If you've seen the new rulebook, the core rules not leaked, the official core rules that came out, he's no longer looking like a skeleton on a chair. He's got more of a bit of life about him. I mean, he's not going to get up. They've said before that if the Emperor of Mankind ever, decided to turn back up, got off his chair, pulled out a sword, yeah, it wouldn't quite work. Because that would be like all of the... Well, you'd have to have like a Chaos God equivalent literally on the tabletop fighting battles. He could murder anything and everything. He hasn't even turned up in 30k. So he's going to stay on the chair. And it's also generally agreed by like the High Council. Who are the High Council? The High Lords of Terror. That if he ever got up, he would be slapped back down, told to stay in his chair and keep being the Astronomicon. They're in charge now. A council of humans. None of this greater god thing. I put a meme in the Discord as well, which is like, you're expecting everything to be incredibly grimdark and, there's no hope and we're dying and the Empire is fading. However, in the last few years, it's like, oh, look at that, we got our second demigod back. Let's go, guys, let's go. Yeah. So, thinking of like the Horus Heresy and stuff, there's a lot of the Horus Heresy units that were for that Horus Heresy game that you could play in 40k are going to be sort of not going away, but pushed to the side. Things like, well, all of the weird Space Marine dreadnoughts, all of their like artillery things, they're all just Horus Heresy only, and they've got Legends rules for 40k, which means they will exist at the start of 40k, 10th edition, and then they're not really going to be like supported any more than that. You've got your rules, that'll have to do. And then you can't really use them at Games Workshop tournaments. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's easier to balance and keep things out. It's only a problem at the Games Workshop tournaments, and I know you, my lovely darlings and viewers, don't go to Games Workshop events, but it's still gonna suck if you've spent money and time painting it. We'll have, I'm sure, you'll get the jokes eventually. I mean, learning all of 40k in 2 months, if you've been able to do that, that'd be impressive. They've been building this stuff for decades. Many decades. Longer than I've been going and playing, you know, because I only started in 2nd edition. There's a whole edition before that. And then they had the wilder, like, rogue trader years. So when they first made this, I wasn't even born. I wasn't alive then. And I don't think any of you probably were, unless you're like, it's possible. YouTube says like, oh, your viewers age between 20 and 40. Like, yeah, that's a gap. That's certainly a gap. Oh yeah, there's another cool thing I've got to show you. That. Stamps. We have stamps. So if you're in the UK, you'll be able to get your own Warhammer stamp. You'll be able to go into a shop and be like, give me one Warhammer, please. I need to send something. Well, you could send it internationally to the United States. Then it'd be quite valuable there. If you know any stamp collectors in the United States that want a super rare stamp, there you go. Yeah, I started playing in 2nd edition. The one that was like 97, 98, that edition. I'm young, shut up. But stamps, if you get excited by stamps, yeah. Get them stamps, send them to the United States. Get them in auction houses, they'd probably be expensive there. Or just buy stamps and sell them internationally on eBay. I could see that working. Yeah. I'll bring you back. Okay. So we've got the new rulebook. That's been released, like, officially. It looks alright. So we're probably going to get the index card soon for all of the armies, but then we'll be still waiting on points. It's expected that the Leviathan box set will be released the 24th of June. I don't know if that is public information. It may not be. But if it's not widely known, you heard it here first. 24th of June, that's Saturday. That's when you can expect the Leviathan box set and the new 10th edition to be launched. So around then, maybe give it another week, maybe immediately, then there'll be points, and you'll get your points for all your armies. And then at some point around then, they'll start selling the boxes and the Crusade book, and then there'll be supposedly something on the Warhammer community to say, hey, you have a Crusade army in 8th, 9th edition? Do you want to transfer it to 10th edition? Here's the steps of how to do it, and then I can show you that on stream as long as I can make it interesting. If it's just me sitting with two, spreadsheets going, let's just move that number over there. Oh, that's slightly changed. Let's change the wording a little bit here. That's going to be boring. That's just you watching me doing Warhammer admin. But I'll try and make it fun, as I try and make everything fun. Whether I succeed or not, maybe. Maybe I succeed. Mr. Von Carmian, to put all the pressure on you. What's it saying? Every single opinion and fact you give, I take as universal. Great. Great. That's what I like to hear. But this main book, it's fine. If you've looked at it, you should have looked at it. I put it in the Discord so everyone has it, as well as the quick reference sheet. So you've all got access to it there. It has all the universal special rules. The universal special rules are scattered throughout the book, and the place where it does have them, they're not in alphabetical order, which kinda sucks. Like, it's a quick reference. Why is not everything there? On the quick reference sheet, almost everything is there, but not hazardous. Why isn't it on both? Why can't we just have a thing in the main rules that has all of them? Is it like for typesetting issues? Is it because of the spellings for other languages? You need more space? I don't know. I don't know. Something to fix. They're not going to fix it though, because the page numbers are fixed. So that is an annoyance. I mean, we can live with it. And, you know, there'll be resources online, possibly legit ones, if they get their app up and working like it's meant to be working. But otherwise, it's me. You're just going to have me as the source for telling you how all of the rules work. And that'll be it. Have you noticed that the audio sounds a bit different? It's a little bit better. I'm hoping it's better. Let me know if it's better. I also have like actual background music going. Vaguely. You can vaguely hear it. I can turn it up. I can turn it up a little. There. Maybe you can hear it when you can't hear it. I was thinking that. I was just remembering that. The chicken and or the egg. It was the chicken that came first. That's just because of the order I went to the shops. Chicken first, then egg afterwards. But that was just because they're out of eggs. There was a whole thing that was like shortage of eggs in the UK. It kind of sucked a little bit. A little bit sucked. Yeah, so I found a way to fix all audio problems in theory. That's what we're going with. So a little bit at a time, things are getting made better. Sort of made better. Now, I have plans generally, to get a new VTuber outfit. Not new model, not necessarily new model, technically new model, but that's how it works, you know. Change of clothes, essentially, because I just have this in like 4 different ones hung up in a wardrobe, all the same, and I'm like, what do I want today? Is it purple and black or black and purple? Did I burn the correct incense over the equipment? Oh, you've got to do it right. When you're typing, you've got to do like, the Emperor, please let me press these 2 buttons in concurrence for your glory. Control for the Omnisire. F for... What does Control F do? Find! Let me find the search. Let me find the thing I'm looking for. Glorious Omnisia. Then yeah, you need the right incense. That's how I fixed all of the... That's how I fixed all the audio problems, yeah. So, new outfit. I plan to get a new outfit. The thing about being a VTuber my size is I cannot afford to pay someone to make the new outfit for me, so I've got to do it myself. And I really don't like Blender, but I'm going to do it. It's like a 500 subscriber reward. For me, for us, I don't know if it's like my achievement, your achievement. You subscribed, you get me. That's your punishment, really, for pressing the subscribe button. A lot of me. So, either way, whether it's us or me, whoever we're praising, I mean, it's us definitely if you're spreading my videos and being like, oh, here's a thing on Reddit, here's a Von Carmian video, and mentioning me in other Discords, then it's definitely an us. Absolutely, definitely us then. Recommend me to a friend. Yes. No. Oh no, don't subject me to more people. It's our achievement. Force more people to watch me. Yes. Yeah, we're rapidly approaching 500 subscribers, so I'm hoping I can get the outfit done and ready. I don't know about black and purple. Definitely purple. Maybe I'll go a little bit lighter on the tone so it isn't all black. I do want my red, like, cape slopey bit that I've got, and I need some, like, variation of my medallion. One of them, something like that. So something kind of similar. That's like, you can look at that and it's recognizably me. Huh. Hmm. Yes. Well, when I get bigger, then I can be like, hey, you're an important modeling person. You know how to do Blender and things. Make me a new face. Or something like that. I do need my hair cutting. It's... Look how floppy it is. It just gets everywhere. I mean, it sort of matches the real life hair, which I sometimes have to move out the way. But I will be making a new outfit for myself, hopefully around the time I have 500 subscribers, and then I can show it off in a live stream. Yeah, the little fangs will be staying. They were something I'm proud of making, so they're going to have to carry over into the next model. None of this, oh, we'll just redesign that. No, I did it. So even if I got someone super important to do with a new model, I would be like, the fangs stay. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll do that. It's on the list. But at the moment, with 10th edition coming out, there is absolutely no shortage of things I need to do and videos to make. I sort of envy people like Proxy Hammer, who are like, oh, I just talk about Eldar. Oh, good for you! That means you only need to really do stuff when new Eldar things are announced, and leaks and teasers and all that sort of stuff. I do everything. I need to not do everything. I need to narrow it down somehow. You know, I'm trying like tournament video, didn't go well, doesn't matter, that's fine. You know, I put out stuff and see if you like it. So we're not going to be talking heavily about tournaments anymore. I made a scenario for you. I know quite a few people like that, and maybe some of you are going to play it for 10th edition. Because when the new book comes out, which is already out, the core rules, it's only going to have one scenario. So having more than one, that's going to be better. Hello! Hello, good of you to join. Nice to have you here. Yeah. Okay, now we can talk about, as I'm saying, all of the things that I always talk about. We can talk about the Dark Eldar, because I didn't do a thing about the Dark Eldar. And I'm not in pain, I'm just very busy. The stress is like at a simmering level, a gentle simmer, you know, like a 2 on the heat, where it's like, oh, this is comfortably. This is where I can, like, relax into just doing videos every day for you. Who is Rylanor? I don't know, I feel like this is a chat gotcha. I don't know who Rylanor is. Did I say Rylanor? I don't think so. Oh well. Dark Eldar. Let me just find a thing for the Dark Eldar. It's an odd metaphor for stress. Do I know a Rylanor? I'm not sure. I'll have to look them up later. Oh yeah, if you didn't know, just on a totally separate subject, I now have chat stream rules. They're in the description. So you can always check them out if you so wished. Right, I'm just gonna get the Dark Eldar up. Dark Eldar. Dark Eldar. There we are. So then if I go to here and here and this. There we go. There's a Dark Eldar. Lovely. All right. So, what was I going to say about the Dark Eldar? It wasn't like enough to make a whole video on. There wasn't anything super interesting. Listening to a song dedicated to Rylanar's last stand. Was he one of the loyalists? A loyalist Emperor's Children person? Because that would, you know, match the last stand. He was like a dreadnought? Something like that. He waited for 10,000 years on the planet Istvan III to take revenge upon Fulgrim. That's kind of cool. Yeah, he's just sat there. Nice. Nice. It's always like a difficult thing. Sorry. It doesn't quite fall out anymore. My whole face doesn't fall out, but a little bit it does. Just a little bit. Yeah, so he's a loyalist that stayed on Istvan III when everyone else was murdered and had to stick around for 10,000 years. It's always going to be 10,000 years just so stuff happened in Horus Heresy. And then it went on to be like 40k stuff. Yeah, it was a surprising thing. It was just, I was so surprised. Anyway, the Dark Eldars. Okay. So there wasn't anything super specific I could make a whole video on. That's why there wasn't a video on it. And I also found that the faction focuses were like getting fewer and fewer. Fewer views, less interest generally as we're going along. It's fine. It's fine. I got it fixed. It's just sometimes the tracking gets shocked. Yeah. So, the Dark Eldar. My biggest problem with the Dark Eldar was their whole thing of having to have the Kabbalites, the Homunculi, and all of the witches in, like, one army. And I couldn't quite figure out how to properly field them, if they're just a normal way, if you just want just the Kabbalites and a little bit of witches. Then do you get sub-faction rules for everyone? Do you get sub-faction rules for some of them? Do the witches get some stuff? Do the witches not get anything if it's just like, they're there, and that's it? Hello, nice of you to join. It was not an ahago. No. I didn't have like the happy tears in my eyes. It was more of a, it went straight to my shocked face. You see, I have 6 emotions. PNGs have like 2. I have like 4 extra. Very expensive having that many emotional states. It was just all of that stress I was mentioning, that simmering stress just suddenly burst through onto my face. So Dark Eldar, I always got confused with the, okay, what have we got here? I don't quite understand how all of this works. What do I get and not get? And no one could easily explain it to me without like me just showing them the army list. So you couldn't go to help for some other YouTuber. Not that they exist. We have heard of no other people but me that talk about 40k. Yep. So that always confused me. But we have the Kabbalite warriors. They have a lot of cool stuff. There, this is me smiling. So I have smile. And when I laugh, then it does the laughing thing. I just really need to like force my face. The Dark Eldar are doing a lot of weird stuff. There are some Dark Eldar that are taking Tyranid DNA and putting it inside themselves to like make themselves better in theory. It just means if you want a Dark Eldar, Genestealer Cult army. That's totally valid. Good, good. So these guys, these little Kabalite warriors, they splinter rifles are now wounding on a 3+, and that's against what? Most things, not everything. Anti-infantry 3+. So that's cool. Oh, I'm glad I have a good voice for narration. Thank you. Yeah, so we're winning on a 3+. That's good. Better poison. Because otherwise 4+, it was like, yeah, I could just have a strength 4 weapon and that would do me most of the time. And then you'd fight guardsmen or tower and it'd be like, if I had a strength 4 weapon, I would wound on a 3. So just having anti-infantry 3+ is really good and gets rid of the whole, oh, does this work on monsters? Does it work on vehicles? What's immune? And that sort of thing. Also do note up in the top, their movement is now 8 inches. That is really fast. That's probably going to be the fastest infantry in the game. I think the regular Eldari, the loyalist ones, they are only the loyalist ones. The Craft World ones, they're only 7 inches. Yeah, so they decided, like, just as a cool thing, these homunculi, they were like, what if we just stuck some DNA in ourselves and grew an extra arm? Wouldn't that be cool? So they did that. This stream is sort of a catch-up of the last couple of weeks of things that have been announced for 40k, and then we're going to do quizzes. Quizzes will come next. What's my favourite army? I don't know. I have so many. It depends what I'm in the mood for at the time. I do like Genestealer Cult. That is a thing I enjoy. I do have Battle Sisters. They're fun for crusading. If I just want to, like, relax into something, I'll play Chaos Space Marines, because I've been playing them since 3rd edition, not since 2nd, but since 3rd edition, and then I can just sort of relax into the way that they play. Yeah. Also note that these guys have leadership 6+. That is the same as a Custodes. I was really shocked at how, like, small, low the Custodes leadership was. I was expecting, 4+, 5+, something like that. But yeah. It's not all heresy. I also have Imperial Fist Space Marines, and did a whole narrative thing with them where they split as a chapter. They're not quite Imperial Fists, they're my own chapter called the Yellow Plaque. Because you know how a lot of them have this little plaque symbol on their shoulder pads? I was like, that's cool. That's the army. So they split. Chapter Master went to Heresy, along with a lot of them, and then the chapter's since been reforged. And only recently, like, as long as you've known me, have I got some Primaris Marines to go with them. Hence the three kinds of, like, bolt guns, and suddenly getting some Inceptors. Yeah. I wouldn't say I picked them, I would say they were chosen. I know. You get the part. There are no bad armies. There are not necessarily any bad players. There are just people who get really annoyed over, like, children's games. It feels like I'm doing some Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge stuff sometimes, where it's like, the children's card game. No, we must fight over this. With a vampire theme. You haven't thought this much since you left university. Well, yeah, that sometimes happens. The brain just turns off, you go into work, you're like, I just do this every day and I don't need to think, and then I go home and watch anything rubbish on the TV, and then I turned up, and now you sometimes have to think. Oh yeah, screw the rules, I have money. Yes, and then you can afford one Warhammer Titan. Like one of the big ones, the Warlord Titans. Or not even a Titan. No one can afford them. Everyone just 3D prints bits or buys it from, like, China and has it shipped over in, like, 7 weeks. Or they can buy, what's the really big knight called? I can't remember its name. It's the one I keep showing off in all the videos where it's like, oh yeah, this is £120. Or something like that for one big model. It's excessive. The best thing about playing since 3rd edition is my, models were like, you got 12 for £10. Now it's something like £25 for those same 12 models. So it can be quite expensive. That's why I recommend going into your local games workshop and getting the model of the month and just grabbing one. Was it true that some time ago you could have made only one chance to fire from plasma? Is that like when you die from plasma? Because that's changing in 10th edition the way hazardous works. Doesn't matter how many shots you fire, after you fired all your shots, you roll a dice. If it's a 1, you die. Or if you're a character or vehicle, monster, then you take 3 mortal wounds. The Warlord Titan is $2,000 US. Okay. No. Don't buy that. No. Just use the ones from like Titanicus. They only cost, what, $50? That's still a lot. And it's a lot smaller, but you can pretend that it's bigger. How would you keep the money in your brain? I don't know, it doesn't stay in the bank account. Just slowly trickles out. Yeah. Okay, Dark Eldar. Other than scary things about money, I didn't see any scary mechanics for the Dark Eldar. I was expecting like oh, look at this, we can turn up and scare you off an objective. Something like that. But there's nothing. None of that was shown off. Or, yeah, you can make an enemy always take desperate escape tests when they try and fall back. Maybe something witches will have. Maybe. I mean, witches are going to be toughness 3 and have some kind of invulnerable save, but only in combat. Oh, getting sidetracked is totally part of it. This is a live stream. It's designed for getting sidetracked. This is like the just chatting part. And then will be more intense, sort of, when it comes to the quiz. When, by the way, do rules for Epic series, they're bringing back Epic 40k. Probably going to be closer to Christmas, I think. And then it'll be set in 30k. So it'll be Epic 30k and it'll be called something like Epic Horus Heresy. Just so they only have to sell one army. And then all the Space Marine players can just play against each other like that. Yeah. Was there anything else for the Dark Eldar? Oh yeah, they have the weird Votan thing that was basically tested with Votan, where you have a unit of 10, and then you split them in half, and 5 of them go into a vehicle, and 5 of them get left alone. So Kabalite Warriors, rather than being a squad of 5, they're going to be, well, a squad of 10 is the basic stuff. More intense. I mean, more focused, not more intense. I'm already pretty intense. The amount of energy I have. Yeah, so you won't get units of 5 Kabalite Warriors. There'll be minimum of 10, because that's the kind of thing they have when they come in a box. And if you want 2 squads of 5, you need to get a Venom. Put 5 of them in a Venom, because that's under the Venom rules. It's on the Venom data card. And the other 5 can go separate and just sit on your home objective. I was kind of expecting the Kill Team box for the Kabalites. That to be like, have some rules. But there hasn't been in 9th edition. And all we've got here, like poison knives or anything like that, it's just, there's a melee weapon for the Sybarite, which is anti-infantry 3+. Doesn't matter if it's a whip, tiny knife, power sword, anything like that. It's anti-infantry 3+, it's strength 3, -1 AP. Which is okay. They're looking okay. And with assault weapons, being able to advance, move 8 inches with the advance, and then still shoot at pretty much full effectiveness. If you've got blasters, shredders, and your splinter rifles, that's a bunch, yeah. You can see you've got the Phantasm grenade launcher. I don't know if you'll have to be on full screen to see it better. That used to be we do scary things, but now it's just, you get the grenade keyword. So you can use the grenade stratagem, which is, if you're within 8 inches, you roll 6 dice, for every 4+, it's a mortal wound. I don't know if you think that's one of the better stratagems. I think it's weaker. It's certainly weaker probably than Tank Shock, where you can do potentially more. Well, it's capped at 6 either way. But yeah, potentially more. too many numbers. It's when you actually get into the playing of it, and the Warhammer channel has shown off a battle report, it's mostly just adding 1 to a d6. So rolling a dice and then adding 1 to the number. And it's just doing that lots over and over again. Yeah. Okay, if that's the Dark Eldar, let's just look at the Imperial agents. There wasn't a massive amount of stuff for the Imperial agents that I could think of. Again, because they're not really a faction in themselves. They're just add-ons for the Imperium. So there we go. So if we have, yeah, you got your assigned agents, so you can have a certain number of them go into your army. We have a Vindicare Assassin. They don't have anti-character. Why do none of their weapons have anti-character? Their whole thing is to shoot characters. So, yeah, you've got devastating wounds, but give it anti-character so that you can actually pass those devastating wounds on. They have the shield breaker, so once per game, you can ignore armor saves, but you've still got a hit, and you've still got a wound, and it doesn't block out any, feel no pains. So I think they can kill one character, maybe, in, yeah, you can kill, one character, maybe, once per game. It's more the threat of it. People were commenting on, when I made a community post, they were like, "Ooh, the idea of a Vindicare, that'll scare people and have them put things out of position." Unless you've seen the stat sheet, then you should know, just go for it. Yeah, there's no anti-character. So they should be specialized to kill characters and mean that you automatically wound a character on a certain dice roll, like with the anti-infantry 3+ that I was just mentioning. That means you always wound infantry on a 3+. There should be a rule for this assassin to always wound a character on even a 3+. That would have been good. Because when you're attacking someone, you roll a dice for the hit roll. That's based on their ballistic skill. Then you roll a wound roll. That's comparing the strength of the weapon to the toughness of the target. And then they take an armor save after that. Yeah. So that was not as impressive. So they're probably going to be taken about as much as they are at the moment, these assassins. I don't think there'll be any particularly standout assassin. Now, the Inquisitor is a leader, and that's a benefit if you are a knight player, because you could just have all of the little armigers, which are quite popular at the moment, just have loads of them, and then have an Inquisitor as a character that's just leading the army. And you could also have, a group of these Navy breaches staying on your home objective, so you can have them at the back, and then just launch out your armigers to go and kill a bunch of stuff. Yeah, it's totally fine. Let's move on to something more vampiric, though. Let's go for all of the Space Marine chapters. All of the colourful ones. The ones that aren't the vanilla one. There we are. So, look at the vampires. See how they're vampires? Good vampires. We like this army. Yes. Good friendly vampires. They're okay. The Dark Angels, they're fine. Now, the thing is with these, detachments, like this one, if you're a vanilla Ultramarine player, vanilla, if you're an Ultramarine player, you can use this detachment, as long as you don't have, Guilliman and Mephiston in the same army. That's fine. So, if we do look at the nicer... there we are. The vampire one. The Red Thirst. We can get behind this. So if you have a pure Space Marine combat army, go for that. Absolutely. Whereas if you're fighting Thousand Sons, choose the Black Templars one with all the Templar vows, and then you can have there a 4+ invulnerable save against psychic attacks and anti-psyker 4+. As long as you haven't got any psychers in your own army, you should be able to pick that. So Space Marine players, very overpowered looking, just for the range of detachments they're going to have available to them right at the start. Vanilla is a perfectly fine choice. I do quite like the chapter tactics that we've got for 10th edition. Being able to advance and still fire all your guns. That's pretty good. The Deathwatch one, this looks very similar to chapter tactics, but then you probably won't be able to take this on a regular vanilla Space Marine army because it's going to be, oh, you need to only have Deathwatch kill team units and things like that. I'm hoping that Chaplain Cassius and Kill Team Cassius is here, because I've painted them up and I want to use them as that specific kill team. With the, you know, the stupidly high number of melter guns and all the different flavors of shots and things. That's what I want. Grey Knights are supposed to get a little tougher. Well, they did get a 2+ armor save on pretty much everyone, rather than like the 3+ that they previously had, so they are certainly tougher in general. They probably won't be able to use any of these detachments because they are like enough of their own thing. And they can't use any of the like intercessor squads or anything like that because everyone's got to be a psyker. So Grey Knights won't get any access to these. But all the other Space Marines can. If we look at this Space Wolf one, all of the deeds worthy of the saga, then these are retroactive. Like, you don't even need to pick one to do at the start of the battle round. You can just, at the end of the battle round, if you've completed one of them, you're like, oh, yeah, I did Saga of the Bear. That happened. So everyone gets to feel no pain. I know I play against a Space Wolf player pretty regularly. I think he'll be quite happy with this. Yeah. So that's one of the powerful ones. Nouns, they're fine. They're okay. They're a Reaver unit. Where am I looking? With the Grim Resolve. So that's something where Dark Angels, or any chapter, really, you know, unless the chapter tactic says no Black Templar keyword or something, then you can absolutely have fun with this. They're gonna just pretty much ignore Battle Shock. So all that stuff we've been seeing of like, oh, Chaos Knights do this and that, they're gonna just ignore it. So they'll be pretty much totally fine. Because going to 1, just field all elite troops. They only have 1 OC anywhere. Black Templars. There we go. Primaris Sword Brethren. Look at this and think of the Battle Sisters. So their pistol, their flame pistol, is no longer getting -1 AP, but it's strength 4. The Battle Sister kind of flamer. They're stealing our stuff. It's not fair. Just all of the Black Templar stuff needs to be just pushed away in a corner and said, you can't do this. We have ladies that specialize in doing this already. You're just a weird Space Marine that's kind of like a Battle Sister. And that's one of the reasons why people don't play Battle Sisters when they should. And I've done 2 videos on that now. I'm sure there'll be more when we come along to like points and things, and I'll be looking, oh, look at that. It's kind of similar to a Dire Avenger, except the Dire Avenger's better. Or, oh, look at that. We're quite similar in points to a Sword Brethren. Yeah. Except we can see that they're better. So I fully expect the Battle Sisters to be kicked again, and then I can do a part 3 of Battle Sisters being hated on. And I will hate to do that. But it got the views. So As long as you liked it. Yeah. What else we got? The Storm Shield for the Dark Angels. The Storm Shield adds an extra wound rather than giving you an additional boost to a 4+ invulnerable save, because that could get quite silly. You're hitting them with literally everything. It's like, oh, 3+ invulnerable save, 3+ invulnerable save, and just keep doing that. So 4+ invulnerable save means there's half a chance they're going to go down. They're still incredibly tough. I think it was only like 7th edition when they were weak. 1 wound, 2+ armor save, and there's a lot of AP2 going around. Yeah, then they've been pretty tough since then, and even more so. But our poor nuns with guns, they can't be. You like the Simpsons jokes. Good. I'm sure I'll end up doing more. It's inevitable. Because it's, a cultural touchstone that people can go and see. Here's a Simpson, here's another thing. I think my 3rd best performing video is just 20 seconds of Mo holding 2 knives. That's it. It has like an insane retention rate of 99%, like across the video. So yeah, YouTube's like, for some reason, this is amazing, and keeps pushing it. There's a joke that like every amazing like YouTube channel that's like, oh, I look at this really dated, really interesting geography thing. Yes, this sort of tectonic plates and that. So why is your best video on your YouTube channel SpongeBob farts and then falls over and dies? Well, it's a 6-second video where SpongeBob farts, falls over and dies. It doesn't have a lot to do with geography, but it's my best performing video, so I'm keeping it there. And that's just how it is. I think I would have to be every kind of bat when I do burst into bats. Just for, conservation of matter. That's how it would work. And then each bat has a small part of my consciousness within it until they reform. You're totally right, Soroscale. I am every single bat. Always watching. Yeah. What else we got? Deathwatch. Some more Deathwatch things. There we go. There's a Deathwatch thing. Yeah, so, are they all about collecting data? Yes. Yeah. The Tome Keepers, they were a White Dwarf made-up chapter with bone white armor. They're all about collecting information. That would quite suit being Deathwatch, as they're all about gathering information on the enemy. That would be narratively suitable for them. As long as regular Marine units were allowed in a Deathwatch army. I think the best you can do is like 5-man assault intercessor, 5-man intercessor squad, 5-man tactical squad. Something like that. Can you have the bat that owns my fangs? I need that. I need it for my face. Has to go back in my mouth. No, don't put bats in your mouth. That's how you get plague. Don't do that. Oh. Yeah, okay. I think I'm about done with all of these things. They just have this really weird parting remark at the end about how if you want precision weapons, then you can kill 1 model in this squad. But we got the full rulebook, and we had the leaks at the time, and precision just allows you to target characters. This apothecary here is not a character, so you shouldn't be able to hit them with precision weapons. So I have no idea what Games Workshop's talking about. Sometimes I think they don't know their own rules. And then I've got to find out their rules and tell you what they are. So you might have noticed I've started like a whole new series on all the stuff. Well, it's like lots of shorts and things. The bat goes in my mouth. It's a success at eating your colleagues, yes. What? Yeah, Games Workshop sometimes just doesn't seem to know their own rules. Precision doesn't do that. You can't do that with precision. No. Okay. We've been going about an hour. That's fine. That's great. This is a good time for us to start quizzing. So, I know that... let's see, can I get this on screen? I should be able to get this on screen. Recommend one. No, what's it doing? What's all this rubbish? Just want the quiz. There we go. It's going to be full of adverts by the look of it. But it's the quiz. So, we're on quiz time. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to read out the question and the options. So if you did want, whether now or watching this on replay, if you want to tab out and play another game or read something or look at some pretty pictures of models on the internet, I mean Warhammer models, of course, then you're totally free to do so and you can like follow along with this. I have you here as a sort of ask the audience if I do get stuck, but I should be okay. None of this is sponsored by the adverts you're seeing here. Phase 2, my second model coming soon. It is sponsored. Oh, who knew? Yeah. So I'm the main one that's going to be answering the questions. Feel free to play along yourself at home. You're totally free to do so. And I'll ask you for help if I do need it. So we've got 20 questions with this one, and then there's a second quiz which has even more. So, I'm just going to do a thing on the YouTube where I'm like, stream marker. So if I wanted to check this later, totally can. Right. Who is the youngest chaos god? We have Slaanesh, Nurgle, Khorne, and Tzeentch. Well, 3 of them are ageless. Technically, all of them are ageless, and they exist in the fantasy and in the science fiction 40k. But we know that Slaanesh was born about the 30th millennium, when all of the Eldar did their weird sex and drugs thing, and accidentally made a god. So we're going to go with Slaanesh. It's clicked to say it's right. Is there like a next button? Correct. Yay. Yeah, it was Slaanesh. Okay. Which Space Marine chapter is stationed on Holy Terra? That's Earth. Imperial Fists, Iron Hands, Blood Ravens, or Ultramarines? And they've got Ultramarines as 2 separate words. I'm pretty sure it's all one word. But never mind. Well, the Imperial Fists are a fleet-bound chapter or from the Phalanx, their big spaceship. Iron Hands are on Medusa. Blood Ravens, I don't know. They're in those Dawn of War games. I never paid attention to where they were from or if they still have a homeworld. Ultramarines are from Macragge, which still exists because they beat Hive Fleet Behemoth at the start of the first Tyrannic War. Yeah, it's just going to be 30 minutes. I think we'll get a full hour of me going, this question is wrong. You don't know what you're doing, quiz site. Yeah, but Imperial Fists, they are the ones, surely, that are based on Terra, because that's where they recruit. It is Imperial Fists. Okay, question 3. Nurgle is the chaos god of what? Greed, excess, and perfection? Disease, rot, and decay? War, violence, and death? Change. Well, we know that greed, excess, and perfection is Slaanesh. War, violence, and death is the opposite, so that's Khorne. Change, that was Obama, wasn't it? I think Obama was all about change, so it's not that. So it's got to be disease, rot, and decay for Nurgle. It's correct! Okay, that's 3 for 3. If you get anything wrong, I'm going to hold it over you forever. Well, that's just probably going to be because the site is wrong, and I'm totally correct. Right, what caused the Eye of Terror? So the Eye of Terror is a big hole in space that has all of the bad things in it. What caused it? Was it a space giant waking up? B, we don't know. C, the Horus Heresy. Or D, the birth of Slaanesh? Well, the Eye of Terror was already there when the Horus Heresy started. We definitely do know what caused it. And it sort of was a space giant waking up, but it was really the birth of Slaanesh from all of those Eldar doing the sex and the drugs that we mentioned. So the birth of Slaanesh is what we go for. It's correct. Who knew? Most of you. That's good. Question 5. What is the orc equivalent of a bolter? So a bolter, we're looking for something that fires, like, is man-portable, kind of like a machine gun sized, but relative to the size of a space marine, and fires like rockets. So the options are zap gun, shooter, there isn't an equivalent, or an auto pistol. Well, a zap gun is like a big cannony thing that a mech boy would have that sucks up little snotlings and launches them at people. We are family friendly. This is someone was born through the sex and the rock and roll times. The rock and roll times for the Eldar. I'm not encouraging sex and drugs at the moment. And when I say family friendly, I mean generally suitable for all ages. Generally. Yeah. So zap gun, no. A shooter, it kind of could be a shooter. That is at least the man-portable gun, about the same size for shooting bullets. Auto pistol is a pistol, too small. I think it's going to be shooter. We are correct, it is shooter. I would have also taken, there isn't an equivalent as an answer. No sex and drugs at the moment. I mean, what you do outside of my streams is entirely up to you. I have no strong feelings either way. So, simple true or false, the Space Marines use the genetic template of a Primarch. Yes. Yes, they do. You have a gene seed stuck inside you, and you get genetically changed to sort of match them. Yeah, I click true, and that's correct. Who is Kaldar Drago? I mean, I think one of you will know who Kaldar Drago is. Is he a Primarch? Is he the Master of the Grey Knights? Is he a planetary governor? Or is he some dude who works for the Adeptus Munistorum? Munistorum? I guess they do ammunition stuff. Well, he's the Master of the Grey Knights. Did I get it right? Did I get it right? I know Sorrowscale knew the answer. Okay. Oh, which of these phases come last in a turn? Now, this looks to be based off 9th edition. Because, we have a psychic phase as an option, which doesn't exist in 10th edition. So which one comes last? Movement, shooting, psychic, assault. Oh, yeah, Kaldar Drago. Did I say that? Was that the guy? Yeah, that was the guy. I'm just double checking that it was the guy that I said it was. Suddenly doubted myself. Okay, which one comes last? That's the assault phase. We do close combat fighting last. And I do plan to do a little series on each of the phases of 40k, more explained, so that beginners can, pick something up and come in. So then they'll be able to understand the basic stuff of what you do in each phase. So that's on the way. Just have a lot of, things to do before that. How far can infantry run? Is it D6? Is it 6 inches? Is it 3 inches? Or is it 2d6? Well, actually, Mr. Question, I think you'll find that the correct terminology is how far can infantry advance? I think that's what we meant. You are definitely targeted by the beginners thing, because then you can learn. Then your brain won't hurt as much. Yes. So, how far can infantry run? It's an extra d6. But they meant to say advance. Ooh, question 10. So, 9 right so far. What chaos god does Montarion's Death Guard follow? I think his name is Mortarion. That's a spelling mistake. No, I'm going to keep picking holes in these questions. So, Mortarion, because, you know, it's from the French death, mort, death guard. Who does his legion follow? It's the 4 Chaos Gods again. Oh, I see we also have misspelt corn. The second letter of corn is an H. So is it corn, is it Nurgle, is it Slanesh, or is it Zinch? And I think Slanesh is also misspelled, and I think Zinch is also misspelled here. So yeah, we're going to be stabbing hard at some holes in these questions. But we'll go for the one that's spelled correctly. We'll say it's Nurgle, because none of the others are really gods. That is, of course, assuming that there's no planet where some chaos worshippers actually spell it like this. I'm, of course, being mean. But if you're gonna do a 40k quiz, get all of this really specific stuff right. Oh, yeah, that's a thing. I'd been doing it anyway because I do a lot of stuff on the mobile device. But for the YouTube community, you can put quizzes onto the Warhammer community, my community tab. If you look on YouTube, then there's quizzes there, little one-off questions. So if I'm not doing like a post on a video or a quiz or a poll, then I can do a quiz. And it can be one of them. Maybe I should do one of these and it'll be like, oh, let's see if you know how to spell corn. Or Slanesh, you know, no cheating. Oh, I'm going to do that now. I'm going to write it down. There we go. That's something that'll be coming up in the coming week. Right. What are the Lost Legions? Question 11. So there's 20 Space Marine Legions. 2 of them don't really exist. I know one of them is the 2nd Legion. So is it the 16th and the 23rd Legion? The 2nd and the 11th Legion? The 1st and the 2nd Legion? The 2nd and the 5th Legion? Well, it's definitely not the answer A, the 16th and the 23rd, because there is no 23rd, 22nd, or 21st Legion. It's not the 1st and the 2nd, because the 1st Legion is the Dark Angels. So is it the 2nd and the 5th, or the 2nd and the 11th? Who's the 5th Legion? I'm pretty sure the 5th Legion is one of them. So I'm going to go with 2 and 11. It is correct, 2 and 11. Does anyone in chat know who the 5th Legion is? Is that the Imperial Fists? I'm just going to quickly look that up. It's Lorgar's Wordbearers? Is that it? I'll have to figure it out later. You'll have to... It'll be one of them. You'll have to tell me what the answer is. Because when I just type it in, it just comes up with like, yes, there is indeed a 5th Legion. It's like, oh, thanks. That's really useful, Google. Thanks for that. 5th is White Scars. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. What is this advert? Go away. It's because I can't have ad blocker running on OBS that we get all of this rubbish coming up. But yeah. Yeah, 2 and 11 are the missing ones. We got it right. Okay. True or false? The vampire blood angels are heretics. And heretics is maybe misspelt again. Now, they may want to drink blood sometimes, but they're not heretics. So this is false. They're not heretics. They're very good boys that just charge at you with their fangs out. And they're like, blah, blood for the Emperor. Yep. Loyalist things. They shout loyalist things. Oh, okay, this is going to be a painful one. It would indeed be heretical to call the noble blood angels heretics. They do nothing wrong, have a totally pure gene seed, absolutely. What year does the Horus Heresy take place in? Now, when it says what year, I assume it means what millennium. Is it the 32nd millennium, the 42nd millennium, the 41st millennium, or the 31st? Well, the 41st millennium is when Warhammer 40k is set, apart from we've now moved on from that, and then it's the 42nd millennium, but we don't call it the 42nd millennium. We're in like the first 200 years of the 42nd millennium, something along those lines. So, was the Horus Heresy the 31st millennium or the 32nd? I'm going to assume, perhaps wrongly, that it was exactly 10,000 years since the 41st millennium. So I'm going to say 31st? Oh, good. Oh, good. That was correct. Yeah, which means that Slaanesh must have been born about the 30th millennium. Happy birthday, Slaanesh. Where is the Emperor of Mankind? Question 14. Is he trapped on a distant planet? Well, it depends how close you are to Earth. Is he dead? That's debatable. That's debatable. Is he leading the armies of chaos? Well, that's just heresy to even suggest that. Or is he bound to the Golden Throne? For now, he's bound to the Golden Throne, though it looks like he's getting better. And that's weird. Too many people are getting back up. Too many demigods kicking around. We should have like, oh, this is, the dark times, the end of a dying empire. And then more demigods turn up. It's like, hey guys, how you going? Okay. Oh, true or false? Warhammer 40k and Age of Sigmar are in the same universe? So that's the fantasy stuff and the sci-fi. I don't know. I mean, I'm willing to take a consensus on this. But think of it as like an ask the audience, because we're on question 15 and I haven't needed to ask the audience yet. The demons of chaos are the same demons that exist in the Age of Sigmar and in Warhammer 40k. So would you say that they exist in the same universe? Would you say that the two are like the same? I'm thinking false. Generally. You would say false, Soroscale? Okay. Yeah, we'll go with false. It says correct. Yeah, so even though the demons exist in Warhammer Fantasy, Age of Sigmar, and Warhammer 40k, exact same demons with the same names, we've agreed false. And we were right, apparently, according to this quiz. Question 16. Who started the Great Crusade? Well, the Great Crusade was absolutely justified, of course. It can be inferred, but it's not canon or anything. Ah, yeah, for the demons. And then the demons, like, some of them are clearly better tied to one universe or the other. Like Be'lakor, his whole thing is in Warhammer Fantasy, where he was passed over as Everchosen for Archon the Everchosen, and that's why he's bitter and hates everyone. After he'd been, like, passed over for the 20th time by all the previous ones. Or 13 times. There was a few. Maybe only 12 prior to Archon. Archaon? Yeah, and then to say it's the same thing with Abaddon the Despoiler in 40k. He's still bitter and just is annoying. He works quite well as like a 5th faction Chaos God. But now we have Science Cog Demon Boy, Vashtor. They could have been like the 40k version. Because he's not an Age of Sigmar or anything. I suppose I know what I'm spending my entire summer doing. Yeah, watching me, apparently. Just every day. We'll see how long I can keep it going. I have energy now. I mean, I don't just mean the stream. I mean just the YouTube videos coming out every day. I'm managing. I'm definitely managing. Every day a new video. Watch it if you like. And then subscribe if you like it. So who started the Great Crusade? The Emperor? Horus? Sanguinius? Or Rebutu Gilliman? I'm pretty sure that Horus Sanguinius and Rebutu Gilliman had been scattered across the stars by this point. So it has to be the Emperor. It's the Emperor. You still have to paint your army. Yeah, the painting pile never really goes down. There's always more to paint. Okay, who is the Primarch for the Ultramarine? There should be an S, the Ultramarines, but at least it's all one word now. We have Leman Russ as an option, Primarch of the Space Wolves. Logar, Primarch of the Wordbearers. Rogel Dawn, the Primarch with Imperial Fists. Or Rebute Gilliman, the Primarch of the Ultramarines. So we'll go with that one. If you are tabbed out, it's not actually telling me which chapter they come from. I'm just letting you know. Oh, question 18. Which race is dying out? I mean, most of them, technically. Humans, in theory. The Tau Empire, their whole arc is like their children as far as the galaxy is concerned. And they're going on like a speed run of all of the Imperium's problems. So eventually they're going to find that AI is a bad idea. You know, something we know already in this millennium. Oh, I'll have to do a video on like AI stuff and how you use it in Warhammer. I'll try and do that this coming week, now that I've thought of it. Depends what else Games Workshop throws at me. Yeah, so all of these races must be dying out. Is it the Tau Empire, the Orcs, the Eldar, the Chaos Demons? Well, if all of the other races die out, then Chaos Demons also die out. Orcs, there's just more of them because spores, mushrooms. Remember how they come from mushrooms in my Orc video? And then there's the Eldar. The Eldar have been dying since, you know, they did that party of excess with all of the things. Yeah, the video ideas never stop. If I ever take like half a day off and I'm like, oh good, now I can relax. No, wait, can't relax. I've got 8 more videos to do now. Yes, the Eldar is the dying race. Ooh, okay. Who turned to chaos first? Was it Horus? Was it Angron? Was it Logar? Or Mortarion? Now, I'm pretty sure that there's a Horus Heresy book, not just about Horus, called The First Heretic, and it is about Logar and the Wordbearers. Maybe also Erebus? But yeah, Logar and the Wordbearers turned to chaos first, then Erebus went to Horus and said, hey Horus, I've got this new religion you might like. Maybe don't die this time, but here's some evil stuff inside of you now. Yeah, so Erebus did all that. He was the first heretic. But he brought down Logar with him, so I'm gonna go with Logar. It's correct, it's Logar. That was a tense moment. I was thought maybe like Horus got turned first, but no, it was Logar. Good. Okay. Here's a controversial one. Is the Emperor of Mankind a god? Yes or no? Well, I would say no. He is a humanish person with immense psychic powers, which makes him kind of like a god. But then again, the battle sister inside of me is saying, yes, the Emperor of Mankind is God. He's absolutely a god. I'm thinking no. Do you have any other opinions? Do you want to say, yeah, is this guy who sits on the throne and commands all of mankind as the Emperor, is he a god or is he just a big dude? Yeah, it is indeed controversial depending on which faction you play. If you play Space Marines, then he's like your granddad. If you're playing Imperial Guard, he's a god. If you're playing Battle Sisters, he is absolutely a god and he does come down and protect me from bullets. And to Chaos players, he's a false god. So, I'm thinking no. This is the final question for this one. I went with no and it says it's correct. The Emperor of Mankind is not a god, so now I'm going to have to burn this whole quiz as heresy. He never wanted to be a god, but they made him a god. And then it tells me all about it, the 40k stuff. Right. Okay, so that was quiz number 1. Now I have one more quiz already prepared, which has got even more questions. Let's see. Getting the next quiz, finding the next quiz. It was here. Oh, hello, Proxy Hammer. Good to see you. So, yes. Oh, have a good day at work. Even though it's a Saturday. I've worked Saturdays before. It sucks. It does kind of suck. But yeah, we're just having fun picking the holes in a quiz, and when it had decided to ask the most, controversial question, is the Emperor a god? Well, depends who you ask. Okay, here we go. This should be the next quizzy thing. Let's get rid of all of these. Oh, we don't want to accept anything there. Test your 40k knowledge. Right, 40 questions. Oh, well, that makes sense. Hello, my Eldar loving friend. It's good of you to stay as long as you can for some 40 questions on 40k. Right. Which orc clan is known for their love of speed? We have the Evil Sons, the Goths, the Snakebites, and the Blood Axes. Well, on my community tab, I did a question about the Snakebites. They're the ones that love Little Gretchen, which are like goblins, the Squigs, which are just balls with mouths, and stuff like that. Hordes of boys. The Goths are also a kind of mix, but they love hitting people in combat. The Blood Axes are mercenaries, and they like being sneaky and infiltrating, so Evil Sons, they're the speedy ones. This is correct. Well done, everyone. Right, oh, more orc questions. I don't know if these are like randomized or it's throwing them all together by like theme. So which orc god is cunning but brutal? This is opposed to the other orc god who is brutal but cunning. So, is it Mork? Is it Gork? Is it Gorkamorka? Or none of the above? Well, Gorkamorka was a box set that came out in the 1990s that just had a bunch of orcs and was a great introduction for orc things. It really didn't sell that well. But that's where... bye, Proxy Hammer. Thank you for coming. Yeah, that's where it didn't really sell that well. It almost put Games Workshop like in the red just on this one box because they were like, yeah, let's put it out and have orcs fighting orcs and everyone will love it. It has like a cult following and people really liked it, but they're not going to bring it back because of how it didn't do so well. That would be like putting major financial investment into like, remember they did an arena game for Dark Eldar? Or they did an orc speed racing game, which is now going to be turned into a computer game. Yeah, Gorka Morka, it was a fun game. It was like a skirmish thing, but it didn't sell well. It's also the name of the orc god in Age of Sigmar. That's what they called it, Gorka Morka. A two-headed orc god for Gork and Mork. So, Gork, I'm pretty sure, is brutal but cunning, and Mork is cunning but brutal? That is correct. It is Mork. An Eldar question. And we've just lost our Eldar expert. Okay. Which Eldar craft world was almost completely destroyed by the Tyranid Hive Fleet Kraken? Was it Ulthwi? They fight Chaos. Altansar. They are one of the minor craft worlds that appeared in an Imperial Armor book, if I remember correctly. And they had like some of their own unique aspect warriors. So, you know, any craft world could use them. There's Eandon, the Ghost Warriors, the yellow ones, the ones that are here in this picture. You know, not that it's guiding us or anything. And then there's a Lytok, which does the Swordwind, a mix of all the different kinds of Eldar aspect warriors in one. And they fight everyone, especially the Imperium. It's actually really nice, the Eldar range, for like models, because you're not just getting another kind of Space Marine that's still a Space Marine. They have like different heads and bodies, and you can give them entirely different color schemes. So if you wanted a good starter faction for like playing around with colors and models, Eldar are a really good one. I would absolutely recommend Eldar. Yeah. But who was almost destroyed by Hive Fleet Kraken in the second Tyrannic War? That was Eandon. The yellow ones. The Ghost Warriors. Who used to be the most numerous, but then the Hive Fleet happened. Oh, okay. This is a weird one. Which homunculus discipline, seeks to actively exterminate the Eldar race, including themselves, in order to awaken the Eldar Dead of Goth you need? So I would assume this was like the Yanari. Yeah, they probably threw in their lot with them. It's like a homunculus faction that's with them. But what's their name? The Black Cornucopians, the Phoenix, maybe that's a different spelling of Phoenix, the Nemesins, the Scarlet Epicureans. I don't know why they come up with all of these weird names. Why do you need to paint the models yourself? Oh, you don't know. When they sell you the models, they're just grey plastic on a sprue. So you've got to build them yourself and then paint them yourself. And you can paint them however you want. I'll have a look into like doing a collab with someone who talks about painting. And then we can talk a bit more about painting stuff. But yeah, as an introductory question, that's a totally reasonable thing to ask. But you do need to build the models yourself and paint them yourself. Yeah, right, for this question about the homunculus, I have genuinely no idea. However, if it's about dying and then coming back with a new god, I'm gonna guess it's Phoenix. Or Fornex. It was apparently Fornex. That well-known homunculus coven. Even the questions were surprised. Okay, another Eldar one. Right, we're sticking on an Eldar theme apparently. Yeah, no, some people do that. They do a hand cam where they paint the models. Yeah, I would have to have an extra camera and then do it. It's a thought. It's a thought, but I'm really not super into like painting advice and tutorials. Of all of the stuff 40k, I've got way more other stuff that I need to focus on before I can get into like anything painting specific. If I was huge, then I could suddenly do oh yeah, as an introduction, here's how you paint a model. You don't have to be kidding, it's a perfectly reasonable suggestion. We all start somewhere. Right, who is the High Admiral of Craftworld Yanden? Is it Eldrad Ulthuan, who is Ulthwi, and then left to join the Yanari after he totally didn't die in the 13th Black Crusade? Yep, that was retroactively switched. Illyric Knight Spear, that sniper for the... oh, you'll have to tell me the craft world that has all of the rangers. They're really strict about the path. It's on the tip of my tongue, and it's not a lie talk. I'll wait for it to come up in the comments. Right, is it Asurman? No, he's the Phoenix Lord of the Dire Avengers. Or is it Prince Uriel? Prince Uriel, we're going with him. He's the one that wears yellow armor and has a spear, and is the High Admiral of Craftworld Yanden that came back and saved them in that second Tyrannic War when they were fighting High Fleet Kraken. Yeah, that's the answer. Prince Uriel. Okay. Abaddon the Despoiler claims which Gloriana-class battleship as his own? The Nightfall? That sounds like a Night Lord's thing. The Iron Blood? That sounds like a Iron Warriors thing. The Conqueror? Dunno. Or the Vengeful Spirit? It's been a while since I played Battlefleet Gothic. I'm guessing the Vengeful Spirit? I might need to ask the audience on this one. I don't know if any of you have played Battlefleet Gothic more recently and remember it existing. Gloriana class is a battleship class, so it's a big ship. I don't know its name. This is an Ask the Audience. This is definitely a harder quiz than the other one. That one, it didn't even know itself, and it kept like asking the same question over and over again. So yeah, this is harder. If we have Vengeful Spirit is Horus's flagship. So, thank you, Soroscale. I'm going to go with that one, because Abaddon the Despoiler is part of Horus's Legion. It is correct. Good job, Soroscale. Thank you, everyone. Alright. Commissar Imbram Gaunt leads which Imperial Guard regiment? The 13th Penal Legion, known as the Last Chances. The Tanith First and Only. Well, the Tanith First Regiment, which is the first and only. The 9th Vostrian Firstborn, known as the Old Irascibles. Or the Catachan 17th Jungle Fighters, known as the Screaming Devils. Well, it's not the Catachans. The Vostrian 9th, I think their only famous thing was holding off a Tyranid horde for winter, then letting him into the city, and then detonating like the nuclear stockpile and just blowing it all up, and letting the remaining Tyranids freeze. The 13th Penal Legion, that was a book series that got really weird. The first one is really good. The second one is okay. Then the third one, I don't know what happened to the author, but it was just terrible with plot holes. It was like, oh, we need to sneak the 13th Penal Legion into this city to assassinate this guy. And like, it's the right-hand man of this corrupt governor who wants him dead. It's like, you spend every day with him. Surely at some point, you can shoot him. You know, he's right there. You don't need to do an elaborate plan to get people across a planet into a city and then kill this dude. Yeah. Oh yeah, there are books. There are a lot of books. Some people don't even play the game. They just read all of the books that come out. Hundreds of books, yeah. So you can pick a faction or whatever. If you look at the faction focus stuff that they've been doing, at the bottom of all of them, it gives you like 3 book recommendations for what to read if you like that faction. So there's a whole load of Horus Heresy books, as Sorosel says. They've been going for 15 years now, and they haven't got to the end yet. And there's a pretty clear ending. This is like a 15-year book series that came off one paragraph that they wrote in like 1990. Yeah, it's a lot. So you can just enjoy reading the books, then you don't even need to play the game. But play the game, it's kind of fun. And it's been getting better edition on edition as to like how fair it is. So in theory, this should be the most balanced, easiest to learn edition. In theory. Whether it stays that way, I'll just have to work extra hard to keep it simple for everyone. Right, Imbram Gaunt. He leads the Tanith First and Only, and he has his own model. Yep, that is correct. I panicked for a second then, because it's Colonel Schaefer that leads the Last Chances. Yeah. Okay. Which artifact is a revered relic of the wonderful, loyalist, pure and gene seed Blood Angels chapter? The Tome of Velkona, the Glaive of Vengeance, the Spartian, or the Blade and Carmine? Well, the Spartian is a bolt pistol for the Imperial Fists. I don't know about the Tome of Velkona, but I'm guessing it's a Salamander's thing. Velkona, Volcano. It's gonna be something like that. Yeah, the Glaive of Vengeance, who knows what chapter that is. You'll have to let me know in the comments if you know what it is. But the Blade and Carmine, well, it has carmine in it. That's Latinish for blood. So it's going to be that one for the Blood Angels. We're correct again. Okay. Salamander's question. I do try my best. Who is the current, relative to the quiz being made, Chief Librarian of the Salamanders chapter? Chief Librarian Velkona, Chief Librarian Lord Umagen, Chief Librarian Varro Tigurius, or Chief Librarian Severin Loth? I think Severin Loth was like a 30k person, maybe for the Lunar Wolves, Black Legion, Horus's Legion. What were they called in the middle? When they were all like Horus's own Legion. Oh, why is it not there in my mind? They were called the Lunar Wolves. Then they were called a thing. Then they became the Black Legion. No one could ever decide on their name. You'll all be screaming it in chat right now. I'm just waiting on like the latency to come through. But yeah, back to the question while I'm waiting on that. Tigurius is the Chief Librarian of the Ultramarines. Sons of Horus, thank you. Yeah, obviously. They were named after Horus, so yeah. I haven't played the most recent 30k. It's a thing I kind of want to do at some point, but there's enough 40k to go around with my many armies. I'm guessing Lord Umagen is a Space Wolf dude. And I'm pretty sure Velkona is a pun on volcano, and the salamanders are all about lava and magma and fire and stuff. So it's going to be that one. Okay, great. Which orcs are labelled for their role as caretakers and trappers of squigs? Herders, pain boys, mad boys, or wild boys? Let's see. Pain boys are like the medics. The mad boys, they used to be around, and they were quite a fun part of like feral orcs. They only seem to turn up in White Dwarf, and now we have the Beast Snagger boys as sort of like feral orcs, but more updated. Wild boys ride boars, I think. and weren't just called boar boys, because boar boys were in Warhammer Fantasy, and they did make metal wild boys, we'll call them wild boys, of orcs on boars, and then they had a cavalry unit to kind of match the Rough Riders of the Imperial Guard. So if we're herding things, trapping and moving squigs around, I'm pretty sure it's going to be herders that do it. Yes, good. Oh, you only really took up playing 40k in, like, last year. Good. I mean, it sounds like you've been reading the books and listening to audiobooks and things like that for much longer, right? But then just actually started playing the game more recently. That's cool. That's cool. In the Discord, a lot of people have been showing off, like, their works in progress and their armies as they go. And it's, you know, they're all nice, really well-painted, well-thought-out little models and armies. Yeah, so please join the Discord. The link is down there in the description. And then you can share images of your models and have people go, yeah, that's cool, dude. Or whatever gender you prefer if you don't like being called dude. That's cool, darling. Something like that. So, which planet serves as the headquarters for the Adepta Sororitas, the Battle Sisters? Is it Ophelia 7, Baal, Medrengard, or Terra? I don't know about Medrengard. I don't know who lives on Medrengard. Baal is the Blood Angels' homeworld, which is kind of a mess. I mean, in terms of, like, the atomic wasteland that everyone lives on, that is Baal. But Terra, I mean, I do know my sisters. Half of the orders are Terran-based. So this is where maybe too much knowledge is going to, like, ruin me. 3 of the orders are based on Terra. 3 of them are based on Ophelia 7. I guess I'm going to have to go with Ophelia 7, because that's going to be, like, their main headquarters, and then their second base is Terra. Yeah, it's Ophelia 7. Yeah, I nearly, like, ruined myself there, because I was like, come on, I know this. And yeah, so many of them, 3 of them are based on Terra. Off the top of my head, I cannot quite remember which ones. Or can I remember? We have the Order of Our Martyred Lady. They come from Ophelia. The Sacred Rose. I swear I know this. No, it's not coming to mind. I thought it might have done. Oh well, it's something we can look up later. Which different order of the Adepta Sororitas is based where? Yeah. Okay, so this question was should have been easy for me. But go away, go away, go away. Not you, not any of you. You hold the line. You stay, you stay. Guardsmen, hold the line. Gotta type in the comments. So hold the line. We stay. I'm not talking to you to leave. We stay. Commissar is watching. Hold the line. Yeah. So that question should have been easy for me. But I overthought it. I still got it right. We're okay. Right. Oh, it'd be lovely to know. Okay, the Tau race has accomplished how many spheres of expansion? 4, 2, 3, or 5? Now I've got to wonder when this quiz was written. Because if it's recent, and I think it's recent, then the answer should be 5. Because they had their first sphere of expansion to meet the Kroot. Second sphere of expansion was the Vespid. Third expansion was to, like, get to their full sort of empire level and then touch up against Mugluth Bear. and then have the whole Damocles Crusade fighting the Imperium, and they were like, yay, we beat these people, and then it's like, oh, no, we just made the galaxy aware of us. That's a problem. Fourth sphere expansion was to go through a warp rift and see how that goes, but then all of the auxiliaries got possessed by chaos and demons and stuff. So the fourth sphere is only like 3 worlds, but they're calling it a sphere apparently. Yeah, it's like 3 worlds, and they really hate anything that isn't a Tau, because Tau have natural resistance to chaos. And then this 5th sphere was using that as a jumping off point to get them the other side of the Imperium Nihilus. Yeah, the Eastern Roman Empire, basically. Because that's, if you hadn't realized, that's the sort of path they're following, where you have legions, and then the legions go away and you get smaller armies where no particular leader can, like, take over the galaxy or take over Rome by just walking in with their legion. And now we're split into East and West Roman Empire, or in this case, the core worlds around Terra. And then we have separately the Imperium Nihilus, which is where Dante and the Blood Angels are supposedly in charge. But now we have the Lion, who's apparently knocking around up there, and he's going to be leader. So the correct answer for this is 5. I don't know how long it would take someone to learn it all. I mean, I guess you could just read the new codexes as they come out, or all of the ones that exist, and then it's about 40 pages, 50 pages of A4 stuff. There's a lot. There's a lot of stuff to learn for all of it. I don't know all of it. I just know lots of things about lots of things. I don't know everything about everything. That's my Hanakawa, like, level of logic and knowledge. So we're going to go with 5, and I'm just hoping this quiz is up to date. Incorrect! Excuse me! Actually, quiz. It just must have been that at the time of writing this quiz, there was only 3. So they're, I don't know, 8th? Was it 8th edition codex? When the Tau stuff came out? Then, yeah. Okay, so we're definitely a few years behind on this quiz. That's good to know. That doesn't count as wrong, because I am correct and the quiz is wrong. Okay. The Iron Hands. Ha! We're not going to do the angry voice. We didn't mean to do the angry voice. If that was the angry voice. That was more of an irritated voice. I think I've had my irritated voice before. It kind of like seems to change the model. The model reacts to the irritated voice. If I did actual anger, I don't know what it would do. Never had actual anger. I am von Carmian. So we remain calm. Okay, but how dare this quiz call me incorrect? Okay, all Space Marines of the Iron Hands chapter are required to undertake what act in honor of their Primarch? Oh, I do like that it's spelled honor the British way. That makes me feel happy. Right, now we have a dude whose arms look very silver. I wouldn't have called it an iron hand. Do they dip their arms in molten silver? Do they embark on a pilgrimage across their homeworld of Medusa to seek out the great silver worm? Ooh, scary. Have their left hand replaced with an iron-sheathed cybernetic gauntlet? Or replace as much of their organic tissue as possible with cybernetic replacements? They replace their left hand. They replace their left hand. They do indeed. Do I have a fan base name? Oh, right, for like my community and fan base. I think we generally agreed on von Carmian's Legion. That way it sort of works for if you're going to do fantasy vampire stuff, or if you're going to do like 30k, 40k, all of this stuff, then there are legions. And technically, you only need 1,000 and like 1-2 people for it to be an official legion, because the Thousand Sons, most of the time they didn't even have 1,000 of them. So that's the aim. 1,000 subscribers, then we're the legion. It might just take that long. Might take a while. But you know, I've promised a new outfit. The Lost Legion. Yeah, the Forgotten Legion. I mean, I've only been going, what, 2 months now? So I didn't expect to be, like, huge. But the underappreciated Legion, that's debatable. It's up to you if you feel I'm underappreciated. We absolutely could be, ooh, the 2nd or the 11th. Not sure. Not sure. That can be up to fan debate internally, whether we're the 2nd or 11th Legion. Yeah. Okay, next question. Oh, we're back to Eldar. More questions on the Eldar. Proxy Hammer, come back! Oh. If you get super popular, will you make us blue? Is that like a verified thing? I don't know. How do you make someone blue? Or is it painted blue? You'll have to explain that. I'm not getting the reference. Okay, Eldar Harlequins worship which deity? Is it Cain or Cain? Something like that. Cain, the god of war? No. Is it Isha, the goddess of the harvest? She also does healing and stuff like that. Is it Kogarath, the laughing god? Yes, I think it is that one. Or is it Ynnead, god of death? Well, actually. Oh, you give them a special role in chat. Oh yeah, I can probably do that. That'll be something I'll be able to do. I just gotta, you know, figure out how to do that. I'm learning all of these things. It's a gradual process, and I do it like a little bit at a time. There is like there's a button system. At the moment, the only options I have is to put you in timeout or to kick you out. And I don't want to do either of those things. But, oh, I think it's maybe something you can do once I have, it might be when I'm like verified or in the YouTube partner program, then I can do it. Or it might be something to do with like, I don't know, if you're like a member rather than just a subscriber. It's something like that. Yeah, but yeah, when the time comes, eventually, remind me. You make people mods. Oh, is that how you do it? Oh, right. I'm not ready for that many mods. But it's a nice idea that people could become mods. I mean, I don't need mods at the moment. We're looking at like 10 people watching at the moment, so that's a manageable amount for me. Yeah. But it's a good thought. Green if you're a member, blue if you're a mod. Okay. Good to know. I rarely look at the colours of people's names. I just look at what they say. In, like, other people's chats. Right, yes. Oh, yes, you say it's an old quiz. Yeah, so some of them do worship Ynnead, the god of the dead, but it's going to be the laughing god. There we go. Ooh. Okay. Although there were 18 founding legions, 20 are known to have been created by the Emperor. Who were the 2 outcast legions? One of them was von Carmian's legion, and we need to be brought back. But are we loyalists, or are we traitors? We have Blood Angels, we have Night Lords, both are viable. You'll have to decide. Oh, if thousands of people are in chat, then the colours stand out. Well, before I have thousands of people in my chat, yeah, I'll look into that. I think I've got some time, though. I still need to make my new model outfit. So, we said the 2nd and the 11th, didn't we? Those were the two legions, so we've already had this question on the other one. So yeah, that's right. Ooh, a successor warband from a traitor legion. Well, okay, loyalist. We'll be loyalist. We can be loyalist, that's fine. For the Emperor, whether or not he's a god. Right, so warbands are going to be like chapters splintering off a loyalist legion. These are coming off a traitor legion. A girl can indeed dream for her favourite VTuber. That's nice of you. That's nice of you. We have to be loyalists or the Emperor will just force all of the scuff on us. And then, no offense to her, it'll become like a monarch stream. Recently she put her ending screen when she should have put her back to we'll be right back screen, something like that. But you know, I'm a much more professional streamer. Oh! That's fine. We'll be right back. Oh, went underneath the table. Okay, we're fine. Everything's fine. There. So we've just got our be right back screen. You got to see that. Isn't it very pretty? No, I just knocked over a bunch of stuff I had on my desk, which has also knocked over one of these inceptors, which has snapped off its little plasticky hanging flying base thing. It's fine. I mean, it just fits back on. It'll go back on. Go back on. I'm telling you to go back on. Yeah, there we go. It just clips back on. It's fine. Then we had some dice rolling around. Okay, everything is great. That's what happens when you mention other VTubers. Things just break and shatter. So, evidently, I would be perfect to collab with Monarch, the Queen of Scuff, as apparently the Prince of Scuff. Let's go back to the quiz. The Chaos Warband, known as the Ravagers, are successors of which traitor legion? The World Eaters, the Sons of Horus, the Night Lords, or the Word Bearers? Ah, we're ravaging people. That sounds a Night Lords thing? Or is it a World Eaters thing? Are we ravaging people because we want to take their skin and wear it as a cloak to reupholster the drapes using people? Or do we just want their inside fluids outside? I don't know. Let's go with the chat consensus on this. Think of it as 50-50. I don't think it's the Word Bearers, but you might think it's the Word Bearers. I'm pretty sure it's not the Sons of Horus, because otherwise it would be saying a splinter group of the Black Legion. Oh no, yeah. I would say a splinter group of the Black Legion, surely. So, do you think the Night Lords, for the skin, that's what they're ravaging off people? Or the World Eaters, for the blood? I'll have to let you decide on that one. What am I inkling towards? If it would said the Emperor's Children, I'd be like, yeah, that's ravaging. Not that there's really much sex goes on in the 41st millennium, apart from what the Eldar did that one time, and then, you know, accidentally birthed a god. And no one has ever canonically had sex in 40k ever again. Right, okay, we don't know. Let's swing with the World Eaters. Yeah, it's the World Eaters. We're taking their blood. We're ravaging them of their blood. That's the thing we're doing. So, which tyrannid organisms are bred for the sole purpose of defending a hive tyrant? Is it the Hive Guard? Is it the Dominatrix? That's a name. Hey, Dad, can we go to the Warhammer shop? I want a Dominatrix. That doesn't have a current model. Is it a Tyrant Guard that is protecting the Hive Tyrant? Probably. Pretty sure it is. Or is it a Tyrannid Warrior? It's Tyrant Guard. Tyrant Guard, protect the Hive Tyrant. Hive Guard, protect the Hives. Dominatrix is just high up there on the level of, like, Hive creatures. And Tyrannid Warriors are pretty big, but a warrior class. Unsurprisingly, it was the Tyrant Guard. What did a wounded Manius Calgar... I don't know why Dominatrix. It was like... in charge. I think they just went off like a vague Latin for in charge. Maybe since they came up with that name in like 1993, then the terminology surrounding Dominatrix has sort of changed a little. Maybe. Okay, what did a wounded Manius Calgar duel and eventually vanquish at the Battle of the Sepulchre? Oh, many Tyrannid unit names are female-themed? I mean, a lot of them end in X, like Carnifex. That's the only one I can think of. Shock System, can you think of, like, any other ones that are, like, overtly feminine? Because nothing's coming to my mind. But yes, Daddy, can I have a Dominatrix? Was apparently a phrase said in the 90s. Oh, yeah. Hive Crone, Harpy. They make sense. Yes. Thank you. Right, who did he beat at the Battle of the Sepulchre? It wasn't a Demon Prince. It wasn't a Necron Lord. It wasn't an Avatar of Cain. I'm pretty sure the Sepulchre was against the Swarm Lord. And this was like some lore added in for 5th edition about what happened during the First Tyrannic War. So we'll go Swarm Lord. It was an Avatar of Cain? I thought the Sepulchre was like this massive glacier, like this hole that's there in the ice, and there's a whole picture of him fighting the Swarm Lord over this ice cavern. I don't have any clippers, as far as I know, but if someone did want to come in and clip that, that's entirely up to them. And they'll just have to be like, actually, this makes sense to 40k players, because every single VTuber I have ever seen has a bunch of 40k players among them. So, yeah, apparently Manius Calgar dueled an Avatar of Cain. I forgot that happened. So that is one I have actually genuinely got wrong. I'm not sad or mad or angry or doing the mad face with that one. Oh, my tone of voice might have actually changed it to the mad face. We are calm. We are definitely calm. But, okay, I got that one wrong. Please never mention this to anyone ever again. We'll just keep moving on. Okay, by what means did Asdrubal Vecht eradicate rival Archon Killithresh and his entire realm? He tricked another Archon to war with Archon Killer Thresh until both were destroyed. Or did he cause a Space Hulk full of demons to crash into his realm? Did he persuade someone close to the Archon to betray and murder him? That sounds about right. Or did he give him a casket, supposed to be a bribe, only to unleash a black hole inside of it? That sounds the most stupid. That sounds the most fun. I think Asdrubal Vect absolutely did that. And I really wish that when the Dark Eldar come round again and can get a new model, they could actually have Asdrubal Vect there. When I hit 1k and everyone sees me as the master of 40k, this is where I'm directing them. Oh dear. Well, this is when you can be like, it's my clip channel, and you could just start a clip channel of me, if you so wished. If you wanted to do that. I'm sure I could put you on my recommended. Everyone loves VTuber clips for some reason. I mean, they're kind of fun. It is like the best of a live stream, in theory. I mean, you know, I've been talking for 2 hours now, and not all of it's going to be gold. Not all of it's fun and crazy. I mean, some of it's me getting questions wrong. Okay, just that one little bit, but that's it. Just that bit. Okay, we're going to say it's a black hole. That's amazing fun. It is a black hole. He was like, black hole in a pot. Okay, good. Ah. Yeah, they're also quicker to watch. You don't need to sit through like 2 hours of... Not even forced to sit through it. I mean, you can do things like paint and game or whatever. I mean, I've said, because I'm reading out these questions, you can be in another tab reading stuff. You could be reading an audiobook? No, reading an actual book. Or, I don't know, gaming. It's a Saturday night, or afternoon, or morning. So gaming could be an option, yeah. Remember that time I got a quiz question wrong? I don't remember that. Unless someone clipped it, it didn't happen. No. No. So, oh, I see they spell armor the correct way, the correct British way for this one. Which pattern of power armor is favored by the Raven Guard? Ah, Shock Systems assembling model. What kind of models are you building right now? For what army? I'm curious. Because I know that, like, having glue and also having me is going to be quite a potent combination. That's for sure. Right, what kind of power armor do they like? Mark III Iron Armor is more favored by the Iron Warriors. Mark V Heresy Armor, that was more the Sons of Horus, more during the Heresy. But, you know, it didn't really come up as much as of, it wasn't really much of a armor system in itself. It was a cobbled together, best we can do, while the Heresy is going on. A Wraith Knight, awesome. I see you're getting in on that Wraith meta that I mentioned when I was talking to Proxy Hammer in our hour-and-a-half long collab. Well, that was a clip. We talked for way longer than that. That was just like the cool bit, the hour-and-a-half. And then there's also the separate bit I did, which was just the Warhammer Fantasy stuff, and the separate bit I did for just the Votan, when we talk about Votan. I'm pretty sure we have some Americans here. Something like 45% of my audience is American. You cannot apologize on my behalf, darling. No, no, no. Oh yeah, the question. Oh yeah, Mark 7 Aquila armor. That's the one I quite like. That's the general Space Marine armor. The one that people know as Space Marine armor before we get this like Mark 10 tactical armor, which isn't for tactical Marines. Or is it called something like stupid like Tacticus? Tacticus armor that the intercessors wear? Yeah, there is no Mark 9, which is odd. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that, like you say, Soroscale, the Mark 6 Corvus armor, named after Corvus Corax, meaning like blackbird. Not that he's a blackbird, but It's the one with the beak, the beaky armor. So I really like the Mark 6 and the Mark 7. The Mark 3 is all right. All right. I find the Mark 2 and the Mark 3 are kind of similar. That's Crusade armor and Iron armor. I'm not a massive fan of like the flat plate stuff. I have a couple of models with that. Then I didn't much like the Maximus armor, the Mark 4 Maximus armor. I mean, the cables coming across the chest is okay, but it's just the way I'm looking at it and thinking, this is the one you decided to bring back full time as the Primaris Marines? It wasn't the better one. You could have picked any of them. You could have brought back the Beakies. Just full-time Beakies. So, Mark 6. I really like the Mark 6. I'm tempted to pick up a box of the Horus Heresy Tactical... They're not called a Tactical Squad. Legionnaire Infantry Squad. Which is just 20 dudes with bolt guns. And the beaky head. I like it. I'm tempted, but not for the price. Which is something like £50 for 20 dudes. And then if you want to use them in 40k, you really need to have like an extra special weapons sprue that you'd have to buy, or a heavy weapons sprue, or both. And then you get into 3D printing, and it's alright. You don't like the Beakies, Phage. Oh, I'm sorry you don't like the Beakies. I like the Beakies. I'm a big Beaky fan. First edition, second edition. They kind of transitioned then in the middle of second edition as to whether we did Beaky or have the grill face. I take a shot every time I complain about something. I am generally quite positive. Generally. There are other 40k streamers which I won't... Streamers? Yeah, I think they do streams. Which, again, won't name. But they do, like, entirely complainy stuff. So, they exist. I'm mostly positive. It's just... So, at least you're not constantly taking a shot. Yeah. Okay, yeah, let's click Mark 6. I like the marks of armor. When they do, like, a marks of armor through the ages, it's quite nice. Right. Which Imperial Guard commander is known for reconquering nearly 1,000 worlds in a 7-year campaign to take back worlds once lost to the Imperium? So this guy, which I'm not going to name just yet because he's one of the options, is basically Alexander the Great. He is entirely based on Alexander the Great. Did amazing stuff, took over a load of planets, did like amazing tactical genius stuff, and then died very young, mysteriously, of disease, possibly at the age of like 30-something, as Alexander the Great did. And then after that, the 1,000 worlds that he'd taken split into 7 successor groups, and they had a little bit of a civil war, and it took quite a long time for them to be brought back onto like proper imperial control. Yeah, so obviously with the successors, they're meant to be like the Seleucids, the Egyptians, the Greeks, the Macedonians. You don't have to like Alexander the Great. Or his boyfriend. He's a kind of fun character, though. Well, the fun in that he named 20 cities after himself and also did a lot of murder. But he did take down one of the biggest empire of the time. If you have a look at the Eldar, who also have a kind of grill mask thing going on, which was popular for them in like 2nd edition, 3rd edition. I know, it feels like a history class. I will lapse into history occasionally. I do have a history background. I did that at university. Ancient history, classics, that stuff. Can only speak a little bit of Greek, read a little bit of Greek. Ancient Greek, dead language. So no one can actually speak it, because there's no one to tell you what the correct pronunciation is. Same with Latin. So when you get all these posh boys in Parliament, it's like, oh, I think you'll find that Markla is pronounced Makandra. Or something like that. Then, no, it's not. You don't know how it's meant to be pronounced. That's just how some old dude you went to school with and taught you how to do that told you that's how it was spelled. Technically ancient history major, classics sub part. didn't really have with British universities. There isn't really usually a major and minor part. It's just degree. I didn't do Latin at school. No, my sixth form was like one of the few sixth forms in the country that did Latin as like one of the things you could do. And if you don't know what sixth form is, it's just, see, every British person has a series of regenerations, and I was on my sixth regeneration at the time. No, it's between age like 16 and 18 is sixth form, which I don't think quite corresponds to American or Canadian high schools, but it's similar sorts of ages. Oh yeah, technically modern English isn't English. I mean, you can make up words like attritional. You know what I mean when I say attritional warfare. It's not technically a word, I think. But people say it. I mean, English is great. You can just throw words together, make up something, and people are like, oh yeah, I get that. If you look at me and I say, nice drip, then you know, he is clearly talking about his fantastic clothes and fashion sense that he made himself over several weeks in Blender. Yeah. British people are all Time Lords. Hey, Soroscale is a Canadian. Nice to have you, my Commonwealth brethren. Praise the King and his stamps with Warhammer figures on them. Yeah. I don't know if you're able to get them in Canada. I think it's going to be a UK thing only, delivered by Royal Mail. I don't know. I've never really been... I was kind of into Doctor Who university. I got a little bit into it. And old Doctor Who... Yeah, it has some good episodes. There are some good episodes. Yeah. Okay, the question, because some people are here just for the question. So, who did the 1,000 worlds in 7 years? This was in like the first 100 years of the 41st millennium, so it was technically Warhammer 40,000. Was it Lord Castellan Yuzaki E. Creed, the guy who went missing at the end of the 41st millennium and now has a daughter who's like doing stuff? Was it Lord Morgul Carmian? That might be either a Rough Rider character or it's going to be a White Scar character. We don't say sorry to French people. Not even the Canadians say sorry to the French people in Quebec. I have a playlist on my channel which is just French slander, which is a couple of shorts where I do mention insulting the French. I have longer videos that I could do about the French, but we'll not get too deep into history. No. Oh, the good question. Was it Lord Graf Harlazan? No, because I've never heard of that. Or was it Lord Solar Macarius? Yes, it was. It was Lord Solar Macarius. So now we've got Lord Solar Leontus is the new one, and he has a horse, and every time I look at him, all I can think of is Zap Brannigan riding a white horse in that one episode of Futurama. It's... Oh, I'll have to put that into one of my videos at some point. Yeah. It's a thought, yeah. It just looks silly. Okay, that question was correct. So, which fortified world of the Imperium watches over the Eye of Terror? And I guess we have to remember that this is a little bit older than current, because Pika-Me graduated and Cadia was destroyed. So it's not Jago, it's not Boros Prime, Lord Leo Brannigan. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Titan, that is where the Grey Knights are, and that is, you know, a moon of Jupiter or a moon of Saturn that's in the Segmentum Solar, our solar system. It's Cadia. Or at least it was. It was Cadia. D&D is pretty okay to learn, as long as you're not starting as the dungeon master, and there are experienced players there to help. I've been dungeon master a couple of times with entirely new people. I tend to like scrap half the rules and just try and explain the concept of roleplay games to them, and then go from there. I think the majority of VTubers have at some point played D&D and all the satanic ritual stuff that it apparently had back in the 80s. But I wasn't alive then. 3.5. Everyone liked 3.5. Oh, which edition was it? Where you could drown someone to make them healthier. There was this weird interaction in the rules where at the time in D&D, you could go into negative hit points. And that was when you were like bleeding out. You were considered in negative hit points. And the explicit wording for drowning someone was after a certain amount of time, they go straight to 0 hit points. The idea being that no matter how healthy you are, you just hit 0. However, if you're already on negative hit points, that can bring you out of doing death saves, and you're no longer dying because you're drowning? Apparently it was a rules interaction. Would I do a rogue trader game? I've been doing with some people a Dark Heresy game, and we've been playing for 11 years. There's only 3 characters, including mine, that have survived that 11 years. And just every couple of months, we meet up and we play a couple of days that game. It's traumatic. It's traumatic for the characters for sure. Yeah, but only 3 of us are still alive. Everyone else has like cycled in characters and just been killed. If I'm a vampire, how was I not alive in the 80s? Not every vampire is several hundred years old. There's this assumption, this like, let's say prejudice, let's say discrimination, or some other word, that every vampire is either 100 years old or was a teenager that was made a vampire last week. I am not. I was like, we don't talk about how I became a vampire, that's indecent. With the exchange of fluids. But I have been a vampire for an amount of time, but not since the 80s. And I wasn't alive in the 80s, no. It was just this whole switch of, I didn't used to go outside, and I was like, oh, I haven't got many friends to go out and do things with, so I guess I'll just stay inside and play games. Then I became a vampire, which meant, oh, I can't go out during the day, because the sun. And I still haven't made any friends. So I guess I'll just stay inside and play games. And then I made a YouTube channel. I was like, if I'm going to play games, I might as well talk to people about the games I want to play. So this is why we exist. This is why we are here together. Did I become a vampire in the same way they did in Twilight? I have never watched the Twilight films. It was popular. The books were popular when I was at sixth form. I never read them though. I couldn't get into them. Oh yeah, I can probably go outside in Britain because there's only sun for like 2 days of the year. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, the Terminators. I see. We're going back to the questions. Enough VTubing, back to the 40k things. Right, what is Tactical Dreadnought Armor also known as? Is it Power Armor, Artificer Armor? That Artificer Armor is the stuff that's now worn by the Grey Knights that gives them their 2+ save. Power Armor is the thing for Space Marines. Carapace Armor, that is the stuff for Imperial Guard, like veterans, and their special teams. Terminator Armor. Terminator Armor is Tactical Dreadnought Armor. Look at that, it's correct. Came for the quiz, stayed for the VTuber vampire lore. Yeah. Oh, now I don't know if I should bother clipping that. Maybe. I'll drop a marker just so I can think about it. It's something I might do. Right. Moving on. Why does the Space Wolf Dreadnought, Bjorn the Fell-Handed, have the title The Fell-Handed? The VTubing is the best part. The best part? Well, it's a good part. There wasn't enough lore in my debut. I know. I go light on the lore. Lore is something you sort of build together. I didn't want to just be like, hey guys, here's the 10-page backstory of lore I've done. Because when I looked at what other VTubers were doing, none of them had debuted. None of them had, like, planned a stream. They'd just written pages and pages of lore backstory. Which is... it can be interesting. But... then again, if you haven't already got an existing following, no one's going to care about the lore. It's just going to be one little story. So yeah, okay, I will clip that as the Von Carmian lore, because I think I do have a playlist about my lore, which just has a few things, you know, already mentioned, like the Necklace of Bad Luck. Yeah. Am I winning? I am absolutely winning if you just got here, name not found. And I have never got a question wrong. And no one can say otherwise. We're definitely winning. It says my score is 53 out of 100. And with only 24 questions asked so far, clearly I'm doing amazingly. How did I become it right? I'll have to look up the Twilight Way. Do I need safe search on when I'm doing that? I'm not sure. But no sparkling vampires. That's a sparkling vampire one. I do not sparkle in the sun. I just burn. Goes like, I go like bright red. The outside of me, it's awful. Within minutes. I like sat under a parasol once, reading a book. It was Dracula that I was reading, actually. But my foot was slightly out of the parasol. It went crispy red very quickly. It was horrifying. I think we just generally enjoy the way you're proceeding and how things are running. Great! Great. I know, I'm the 40k VTuber, so I can't stop doing the VTuber stuff. And I can't stop doing the 40k stuff. I can only do that if Games Workshop, like, slap me with the ban hammer or something. Oh, shock system, you can relate. Yeah, the burning. The burning. I might see you differently if I know what the Twilight Way is. Oh, definitely not going to look it up. Nope. Yes, it's normal for British people to burn in the sun. Absolutely. Right. I'm just going to grab some water. I will be like 15 seconds. There we go. There we go. Pretty skirt. Oh, yeah, yeah. It is. Oh, if you want technically more lore, not technically lore, I don't know if it's considered lore or not, then, yeah, it's technically a skirt, not a kilt. This is because I'm not Scottish. And it was pointed out that if you're wearing a kilt and you're not Scottish, it's just an English skirt. It doesn't actually count as being a kilt. Also, the kilt is like the full body thing. If you've seen Brave, that green over-the-shoulder, full body round thing that they wear, that's what an actual kilt is. So yeah, I guess I wear a skirt. So we've got to find all them, what is it, femboy clippers, get them in. But I'm not a femboy. I am a femme man. mm. Woke up one day and thought, yeah, I'm gonna go get screwed over by another vampire, so I never have to leave my house. Well, I can still leave it at night. That's, you know, you can go for a... Actually, the first video that I put on my channel was walking in the woods at night, and there were some bats. So that, I don't know if that's part of the law. I could put that in the law. I'll write that down. Okay. Tracking is just clipping a little. I just need to step away for a moment and fix that. I'm still here. I'm still here. Okay. That's better? That's better. Okay. Okay. We're good. There we go. This is working. Right. Okay. Oh, if you hadn't seen, I've managed to get closed captions working on this right now. This is different to the kind of captions I do for my videos. They're pretty much handwritten. So when I was doing the one about all of the leaders, which was the ending the Death Star units and all that stuff, they couldn't figure out as like an auto-generated thing, lone operative. I had loom operative. I had load operative. I had Luke operative. I had loan spelt the way that it would be if you were borrowing money. Any other spelling except Lone for lone operative. Yeah, it's... Can I keep a bat as a pet? I don't know. I don't know. That may be allowed. I'm not sure. I think you can. Leaving the house. I didn't mean to just laugh at that part. Leaving the house at night in this economy. Yeah. Well, obviously. I mean, otherwise you need your second job that you have to go to at nighttime. Lube operative. I don't know if it went quite that far as lube operative, but it was trying. It also sometimes does the British spelling of like armor and sometimes the, I don't know, Australian version? Which one drops the U? American, United States version. English simplified. It sometimes lapses into that. Yeah. The captions are doing my accent dirty. Yeah, the captions... My accent is kind of hard mode if you're not used to English. Then, because I'm from the northeast of England, it is an unusual one. Yeah. But as long as you can all manage with it and find, apparently, as someone said earlier in the stream, a very gentle, extremely pleasant narrative voice. So, the quiz. Why does the Space Wolf Dreadnought Beyond the Fell-Handed have the title Fell-Handed? Because he often fought with a power fist? Because he's lost his arm during the Battle of Prospero? Because he only ever kills with one arm? Or does nobody know? Oh my. That's a whole thing for the captions. You're from the south. I've heard harder English. I mean, I have a pretty... one of the nicer northeast accents. It's not, you know, full on... It's not proper Geordie, where we go, how, where, how, why, man, I. And they say I instead of yes. I'm like 20 miles away from that. So there's no risk of me lapsing into that. I know for American people, they're like, why isn't the accent the same if it's only 20 miles? No, in Britain, the accent will have changed 4 times in that space, to the point where you can go into an office and tell which village all of the people nearby are from just off their accent. Thank you. I'm glad I have a nice accent. And it can be understood in Canada. Oh, right, I have no idea why Bjorn the Fellhand is like this. I don't think he only ever killed with one arm. I don't think he fought with the power fist. I think, let's say, I mean, nothing against Geordies. Geordies are canny people. And they say canny. Yeah, 5 miles changed the accent. Didn't he get the name from the Primarch? I mean, it must have been that, but I don't know why the Primarch gave him the name. Let's go with because he lost his arm during the Battle of Prospero? It could be that. And then Rogel Dawn, no, the other tank, Lehman Russ was like, hey, that's kind of funny that you lost your arm. Let's name you after that and stick you in a dreadnought. I also thought it was because, you know, he's got a claw hand. So he's got a fell claw hand. It could have been that. He lost in Prospero. Well, there we go. Thank you, Phage. We are correct. Heat from fire, fire from heat. That's apparently the thing you've got to say to mellow out your voice. Heat from fire, fire from heat. I do seem to have a thing about fire. It's a battle sister trait, this thing with fire. Yeah. Okay. Just need to check a thing real quick. Interesting. The improvements I made previously to the quality, it might have dropped. I don't know if that's a recent thing or not, but it was better quality in the past, or like previously. It must be because I have so much running at once, plus, you know, the captions. Yeah, I should be putting out much better than that. Oh, it's probably because it's late at night in the UK. And about this time is when, like, everyone streams and uploads videos. That's why we're getting, like, this big drop in stuff. Yeah, I think next time I might have the closed captions off. Especially if, you know, they're saying naughty words when you join. Like, that shouldn't be there. So that'll be something that to sort of fix for next time. But yeah, we've gone to like not pretty quality. And if I'm going to show off a new model, assuming that by the next live stream I've got to 500 subscribers and have finished making the new model, then yeah, you like the captions? Captions, good. But otherwise, in theory, this should be streaming it way better than 360p that we're doing at the moment. Oh well. It's more audio than visual, despite the VTuber flopping around. The captions are funny. Oh well. Okay. We'll leave the captions. Yeah, the captions are what YouTube are doing at their end, so I have no control over what the captions say. That's not me. Right. So, which Catan god is theorized to be trapped on the Noctinis labyrinth on Mars? Azagorod, the Nightbringer, Trasnog, the Outsider, Magledroth, the Void Dragon, or Mephetran, the Deceiver? Well, the Mars is all about the Adeptus Mechanicus. They have a whole thing with the Void Dragon. So we're going to go with the Void Dragon. You listen more than you watch? That's fine. Yeah. I mean, I have some available like visual stuff. But otherwise, I make a decent like audio thing, and I'm like, here's a thing you should look at in my videos. So that's where that works. The Void Dragon. It is indeed the Void Dragon. Okay, only 15 more questions to go. The Void Dragon's now got its own model. It looks pretty cool. So it has, I think there was somewhere in the lore that like at some point a Necron ship turned up within the atmosphere of Mars, cut a furrow, sucked something out, and then left. So that must be how they got the Void Dragon shards. Okay. Depends if you got this far in the 30k books. It actually also depends if the 30k books have got this far. But who is responsible for fatally injuring the Primarch Rabute Gilliman and causing him to be frozen in stasis on Macragge? It wasn't Angron. It wasn't Logar, because he could just beat Logar in a fight. It wasn't Perturabo, because I don't think the two of them ever fought. It was Fulgrim. Fulgrim had like a poison blade thing, and then Fulgrim became a snake dude. Do I live in a cathedral? It's like a corridor I have access to. I just light the candles. You know when you go into the dungeons in any game or in any of the stories and things, and you see Lara Croft and things, there's all of these random already lit candles and braziers and things just around. Who lights them? Whose job is it to go around all of the ancient temples that you're apparently protecting and just light these random hallways for no one? It should be for no one. Oh dear. Oh yeah, it's a Shard of the Void Dragon, so there'll be bits all over. But that was like the main one that they went with as like the reason this exists. The Chaos Lord Typhus. Use the anathema or an anathema. I can't remember if there's just one anathema or lots of them. But yeah, that's a blade designed to kill Primarchs. That makes sense. Right, Typhus. What was he once known as? Tiberius the Red Wake, Captain Erasmus Tycho, Magna Titus, probably a salamander, or Captain Callus Typhon. I'm pretty sure it's Typhon, because Captain Erasmus Tycho is a blood angel whose death was written before any other part of the character. He was in like a White Dwarf 3-part scenario or something like that, where he was the captain of like the 3rd Blood Angels chapter, fighting on Armageddon, and it was planned that he was going to be a dude who got injured, hence he got the mask. Then he became a captain and led the Blood Angels. And then in the 3rd scenario, he then... it is Typhon. He then would get the Black Rage and do this amazing thing and kill a bunch of orcs and do something important, but then he would die. Yeah. So, but that, like, idea of him dying was already written in. Who currently wields the ancient power sword known as Moonfang? Well, I'm guessing this is going to be a space wolf, considering the picture as a big clue. Ah, he was getting killed by another Death Guard and his blessing kicked in. Ugh, absorbed the dude. No. Is that Vor? Or is that going to be some other kind of tag that I don't want to look up? So that's a fun thing? We'll say fun thing. That's a neat trick. Definitely that. Right. Shrike. Who wields Moonfang? Is it Shrike? No, he's a Raven Guard dude. Is it Cato Sicarius, the captain of the 2nd Company of the Ultramarines, who we haven't heard a lot from in a while, and maybe it's going to end up as a Primaris dude? Hopefully not, because I don't want them to all just become Primaris. Is it Korosara Khan? Oh, it could be. Oh, it could be. He is one of the White Scars. Moonfang would kind of match. Ragnar Blackmane has a chainsword, and his chainsword has words written on it because you can paint the words because it's a groove, so you can just paint like a wash over it. So I'm thinking White Scar Dude? White Scar Dude. Moonfang does sound like a power sword kind of thing. Yeah. Okay. Current stream bitrate is higher than recommended. Am I dropping frames? I'm not dropping frames at the moment. Let's just have a look. Oh, I'm streaming too many bits. Oh, I'm terribly sorry, YouTube. I didn't mean to be streaming too many bits. Where's my settings? You can't manage that many bits, so if I drop it down to that, is that maybe going to be better? I don't think it's going to like retroactively change the way that the stream works, but maybe YouTube will stop shouting at me. Well, the stream status is apparently excellent now. Oh well. I mean, as long as the audio quality is fine, that is the main thing. And if you can like survive with 360p, that's how we'll have to do it. But I'm sure I had it right the last time I streamed. But it's something I'll have to fix next time. I'll write it down. Live stream quality. And it'll be something to add to the list. I know I'm not like weirdly obsessing it over it. It's just that YouTube is pinging me saying, hey, sort this out. Hello, hey, listen, hey, listen. Like that. That seemed to clear it up, really? That's possibly good. Okay. I'll have to look into it. Anyway, that's for another time. You've played on a potato before. Yeah, I mean, I'm streaming from a potato, so that should be part of it. Right. What did the Ultramarines use to prevent Necron warriors from reanimating during the Damnos campaign? Electricity? Water? Just, oh no, this Necron warrior is going to reanimate. Just get your little flask and just pour a bit of water, and it's like, no, I'm melting. Oh, who would have ever thought a small amount of water would ever fall on me? Oh, man. Did they use magnetism, or did they just throw vortex grenades? I think it's either going to be electricity or magnetism. I'm inclined to go with magnetism. To, like, stop... If it's stopping reanimating rather than phasing out, it'll just be something that keeps the bits apart. It was a thing that just kept the bits apart. Okay, good. Magnetism it is. Ah, we have Tau now. So, which Tau commander has been classed as a renegade by his own race? You know, I asked this question of my community recently. They didn't have Commander Large Gun as an option, though, like I did. But Commander Brightsword, Commander Farsight, Commander Pure Tide, or Commander Long Knife? It's Commander Farsight. I love how you laugh at your own jokes. Someone has to. Because unless you always type lol in the chat or throw in like an emoji or something, I have no idea if you're laughing. I just assume you are. Yeah, so I've got to laugh at my own jokes. It keeps it lightly humoured. Otherwise, I would just tell a joke and then stare at the screen. Do you like that? Do you like that when I just stand rigidly, staring into your soul, unblinking? It's not, no, that's not fun. That's weird. Oh, that was like, that's, I can't watch this back. That's going to be giving me like nightmare scary things. Right. Good. So, that was him. By what title do the Dark Eldar refer to the Chaos God Slanesh? The Drinker of Shadows? The Dark Seeker? Maybe? She Who Hungers? Or She Who Thirsts? I'm afraid Slanesh is a thirsty lady. Man, god, deity. He, him, she, her, they, them, it. They. Deity. All of the pronouns. It's one of those like fey creature things where don't tell your pronouns to Slanesh because Slanesh will literally take your pronouns and add them onto their own. So, yeah, it is She Who Thirsts. Because she's after them tasty, tasty Eldar souls. Yeah, the Dark Eldar, like the rest of the Eldar, call her She Who Thirsts. Right. Which Necron entities are primarily used to serve as guardians on a tomb world? Tomb Stalkers, Triarch Praetorians, they do guard stuff, but they also get out there and tell people to do things. Pariahs, no, they're from like the null humans. I can't remember if they've been back in the lore recently. There was some unit, maybe, where they were like, yeah, this is pariahs. Or they used all the pariahs up to make the pariah nexus, which was a whole thing like sapping people's will, the massive opposite of the warp. So that. Or is it Canoptic Spiders? So, I mean, Tomb Stalkers are big walkery things, like War of the World style walkery things. And I don't mean like the American 1950s War of the World things. Not them. But more, because they like floated and it was weird. And they called them tripods even though they clearly fly. But it was like, oh, they just 3 magnetized legs. Well, then show legs. This isn't steampunk enough. Spiders. It's Canoptic. It is Stalkers! What? The spiders are there as guards? Tomb Stalkers are guards? Alright. Okay. Tomb Stalkers defend the thing. I mean, it's got its own little... Oh, it's like a Tomb Stalker. Oh, it's not. I'm thinking of something else. I was thinking of... what was I thinking of? The Reanimator. I'm thinking of the Reanimator. I know the term was defend the place. Guardians. Yeah. 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 Okay. Okay. From watching me, I've got more vampire recommendations and Warhammer recommendations on YouTube. Funnily enough, that should happen. I'm glad, actually. It means YouTube has some clue what I'm doing. Yeah, the spiders repair the drones. Tomb Guardians. Okay, I think Tomb Stalkers like the millipede-looking things. Yeah, like centipedes. Yeah. Oh, how many psychers are required daily to power the Imperial Astronomicon? Well, 10, 50, 100, or 1,000. It's grimdark. It's going to be the most people. It's got to be 1,000 a day. That's what we've got to feed the Emperor. That's why the Emperor's looking so fleshy and full of life. It's all of that, crushed down psycho juice that they just keep rubbing on his face. Maybe that's a whole plot, like... Fly. 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 Ah. Yeah, it's, they're like, oh, we definitely need 1,000 psychers every day to keep the Astronomicon going. Well, it might just be 1,000 psychers slowly heals the Emperor. Maybe. And then there's those Inquisition group that wants to kill the Emperor because that think that like he's being held back by the Golden Throne, his fleshy body. Yeah. Oh, back on Tau again. I don't. Apparently, I seem to know the least about Tau. They're one that like they're a weird collection of things, and I'm okay with Tau. I'm trying to think of which faction I know the least about. Custodes, maybe. There's not that many of them. I don't play them. They're one of the few armies I don't play and have no interest in playing. So maybe them. Which Tau weapon is predominantly used for close quarters shooting? Close quarters? The Tau going into close quarters? No. What do they use to kill heavily armored targets? Smart missile system, burst cannon, pulse rifle, or fusion blaster? The burst cannon is anti-infantry. The smart missile system is missiles for hitting people, and supposedly the missiles are smart. Pulse rifle is your regular infantry rifle, which is generally for killing other infantry. Fusion blaster is like your melter gun. So it's a fusion blaster. I've faced Tau enough times to know. Alright. Dark Eldar again. Which Dark Eldar warrior holds the title of Executioner? Lilith Hesperax, Asdrubal Vecht, Yggtrisha Guularis, or Drazar, the Master of Blades? Well, since the picture has a witch on it, kind of like Lilith Hesperax, and since Drazar is the Master of Blades already, he has his own epithet, it's gotta be Lilith. Why is it Drazar? I mean, that is interesting. That is a curious thing I did not know. Why does this man need so many titles? Why is he the Master of Blades and the Executioner? Is he some kind of Necron overlord? Who's like, the Pharaon of Ungullimant, the slayer of Gorgon creature Busnunus, the one who kicked Jim in the toe one time. They have like way loads of titles. Why are the Dark Eldar doing that? Drazar has too many titles. That's just how it is. Too many titles. Not a fair question. Hacks. Maybe it's updated. Maybe Lilith is now the Executioner. And it's just that this quiz is outdated. That's what it is. That's what it's going to be. Right, shock attack guns. I mentioned these already. So, what do we fire out of shock attack guns? Electricity? Well, it does have electric balls on it there. Is it rockets? No, definitely not. Is it squigs? No. It's snotlings, these little even smaller than Gretchen goblin creatures. Snotlings. Master of Blades is his title, Executioner is his role. Okay. It sounds like eventually we're going to get to, like, the assistant to the leader of beheading, and that'll be a title. Oh, dear. The spelling test. Yeah, Gretchen, it autocorrects sometimes to the German name, Gretchen. If you know you're like, what was that TV show that was for children under 10? Recess. One of the characters' names was Gretchen. So every time I heard Gretchen the first time, I was like, but she's not a little goblin creature. She's actually really tall. Gretchen. Right, which Tyranid organisms are usually at the vanguard of a Tyranid invasion? Lictors, Rippers, Termagants, or Gene Stealers? Well, Rippers come right at the end, in theory, to clean up the place, eat everything, and then jump into a digestion pool for all of the nummies. I didn't just say nummies. But to be food for the hive ships. Yes. Then The Termagants, they come in the middle. They're part of the main invasion fleet. So is it Lictors or Gene Stealers? Lictors are an infiltration thing. I wonder if... Oh, no, Vanguard is the first bit that goes in. It's not like the main force. Oh, yeah, my eyes have a lot of movement. I have pretty good eye tracking stuff going on at the moment. Yeah, so, yeah, Termagants, they're in the not in the Vanguard. It's Lictors or Gene Stealers. They both infiltrate. They're both in the forefront. It could be either. Gene Stealers are more like get in there first and set up a Gene Stealer cult, like way beforehand. So I'm gonna say Lictors, because they would be dropped in by the Hive Fleet itself. It's Lictors, yeah. So yeah, Rippers, they're right at the end. They're whatever the opposite of a Vanguard is. Good. Good. Oh, okay. Who is the very first Emperor's Champion? So the Emperor's Champion is for the Black Templars. He's a dude who's good with a sword. The first Emperor's Champion. So it's not actually a champion of the Emperor. Otherwise, Primarch Rogaldorn would have been, I guess, his champion? I guess? Chief Custodian Constantine Valdor. I mean, Valdor's still around? I don't know if he was around in 30k. Someone who's read more books or audiobooks and things from back then will have to be able to tell me if Valdor... Or maybe he's a different dude entirely. Yeah, probably a different dude entirely. Not him. Malcador the Sigillite was like the assistant to the Emperor. Yeah, the assistant to the regional Emperor. And he set up the Inquisition and was just generally considered a really cool dude. I think he also set up the Grey Knights. He was in 30k, was Valdor. Well, I'm pretty sure it's Sigismund, because he was an Imperial Fist who really liked crusading. I think I've got that right. I'm going to go with Sigismund. Tis Sigismund. He was on his way to Prospero and do stuff. Yeah, so he is a 30k one. I've read The Burning of Prospero. And whatever it is from the other point of view. They were pretty good books. They were pretty good. If you want like a good starting place for books, I recommend Fulgrim. Because that does the major event of Istvan 3. And it tells you it from the traitor point of view. And if you don't know anything about Warhammer, then it's like the picture of Dorian Gray, but it's 40k, 30k. He led a part of the Imperial Fist. Against orders. I'm kind of picking up my 30k knowledge. It stopped interesting me when I was always like, if there's a 30k and a 40k, is there a 10k and a 20k? No, not really. There's some events that happened in the past, like there was meant to be a big uprising of Psychers. So then they all agreed, no more Psychers. Except Space Marines can still have Psychers, but limit the Psychers. There was also an AI fight against the Iron Men that was sometime in the 20s. So that's when AI was banned, and any kind of robot things. You need to be a taxi tonight? Oh, okay. Well, thank you for coming along, Soroscale. I wasn't expecting this to last 3 hours, but we're getting close to the wrapping up soon. So thanks for coming, and I hope to see you again in comments, in videos, in live streams. Yeah. Yeah, Sigismund was like the Black Templar dude, the whole reason that chapter exists. Ooh, we had duels with Sevatar. I'm learning the 30k stuff. Generally, it was like, I know the one paragraph of the Horus Heresy. I know the little bit of how it started and how it ends. I don't need to know much more than that. So yeah, I get by. I get by on that. Bye. Yeah, 3 hour good luck wrapping up. Okay, thank you. Ah, okay, we're back on the Imperial Fists again. Who was it that founded the Crimson Fists? So we know it's not Sigismund because he's the Black Templars. So is Amandus Tyre, Efreid, or Alexis Pollux? Pollux was a shield dude? I think he had a shield and axes. I don't know for this one. It's the second to last question. I'm just waiting for Phage to come in and tell me the answer. There was a 1 a.m. video? Did I do a 1 a.m. video? Maybe I did. Oh, was that oh, yeah, because we were in different time zones at some point. Yeah. It was Alexis Pollux. Thank you. I thought it kind of was. Is he going to tell me? Oh, it's processing. Okay. Oh, is that it? Oh, okay, that's it. Is that it? Oh no, there's a next. There we go. It just loaded up. Right, and then it's telling me my previous answers there. Okay. Oh, what is the highest attainable rank in any Tau cast? So, I think it goes Shazla is like a sergeant? Maybe? And then Shazvre is higher. Shaz L or L somebody... No, L, Shaz L is quite high. That's like your captain level, your commander level. And then I think Shazor is your supreme commanders. I'm going to go with O. Was indeed O. Good. Good. Yeah, we must have been in different time zones then, because I've only done these in UK time zones. But turning up for a 1 a.m. stream and or video. Very nice. I'm glad you have notifications on. If anyone else wants to know how to put notifications on, then I think it's next to the subscribe button. There's a little bell. You can press that, and that will put notifications on, so you get notified of things like streams and I think new videos as well. Well, we got through it. Okay, let's view the results. Why is it saying 90 out of 20? Correct, keep going. We're at the end. There's no keep going. It's loading. Loading. Oh, you can get a little certificate. Oh, that's wonderful. A score of 90 out of 20. Because I apparently got 4 incorrect. Well. What's this top score thing? Why isn't my score there? It's better than that. You probably have to be logged in. Something like that. I'm not going to log into this website. There we go. You can screenshot my certificate. Just change that 90 to a 100. If you don't mind, that'd be fine. If you want to just screen capture that. 100%. Know all of the 40k stuff. Now I've got to print it out and show me ma'am. Yes, look ma'am, look what I did. And she'd be like, 90? Only 90? You're better than that, my son. She doesn't sound like that. Okay. That is the end of that particular thing. Hello again, chat. I can see you on screen. Yeah, so we've been going for 3 hours. I'm thinking maybe I should set up like a stream ending screen, something like that. No, then it would end up like Monarch, where I accidentally click the stream ending instead of be right back or something like that. Can't be doing that, no. So it'll have to be just it ends abruptly. Do we have any final thoughts? Any comments? Have we had fun? Have we had fun over the 3 hours we've had? I'm glad we've had fun. There's been giggles, there's been clippable moments. I'll clip them. And you'll probably see them as a YouTube short or, I don't know. Hide the chat, it's still changing. Can't I see the scrolling? I can, I don't know, it's working. It's just, maybe it's doing a weird thing where, is it doing like time travel? Where you type it, it appears on the main screen first, and then it appears in the side? That would be weird. That would be really weird. So, yeah, this is where I think I'm going to end it. Of course you've had fun, I'm so glad. And to the, I don't know, dozen or so people who turned up, that's really nice to have for like my third live stream? Yeah. Oh, it was a joke. Okay. Okay. Don't do that to me. Yeah, I've got to just assume everything is a joke and take it way less seriously. Because I can do like a 25-minute video and someone will just comment, I actually think it was this thing instead of this thing. Like, I have to think, they liked the video. They watched the whole video and thought, that was good enough to comment on. Rather than they got that far, made the comment, and then just exited out. So yeah, you just gotta grow like YouTuber skin. Right. Right. So, next video will be tomorrow, of course. I'll just do a bit more work on that tonight and we'll start looking at clipping things, and then that'll appear in the following week, probably as a little short. So for all those people that missed it, they can see it. And if any of you want to watch it again, there it is. Maybe with more like sound effects and animations and coming out in a bit more than 360p. That'll be the ideal. Along with, you know, all those other videos that I just mentioned off the top of my head that now have to be created. Oh, I've got some work to do. Well, it's there for you to enjoy. That's the important thing. As long as you like to enjoy it, I'm happy to make it. So, my darlings, my viewers, thank you for turning up. This has been great. So I'm going to end the broadcast. You have a wonderful day, night, sleep, nap, whatever you want to do. Have a